What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Styled and Dialed Show. Your host, Chad, and got a special guest with me tonight, and I'm sure that's what you guys are here for. We got Hayden from the Acreage, and before we bring him on, I'm going to go through the chat here and see who we have here. We've got Brad. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. We have Randy Rodriguez. Good to see you, my brother, my friend. Appreciate you guys coming in tonight. As you're coming in, go ahead and drop a comment. Let us know who you are, where you're tuning in from. And we're going to have a good show tonight. We're going to have a good conversation. We're going to talk about beards, and not just beards, but body. We're going to talk about different things that the Acreage offers. Hey, what's going on, Antonio? Good to see you, brother. Doing well, man. All is fantastic. Fantabulous. Always good seeing you, Bob. Frickin' Frack, good to see you, brother. Look at that beard. Every time I see that beard, I just think, wow. I just hope that at your age, when I get there, that my beard looks as good as yours. Fantastic. All right. So we've got 7 in here right now. If you guys could go ahead and hit the like button as you're coming in, I would appreciate that. And we're just going to get rolling tonight. All right. And let me see if I can. There we go. All right. I'm only 37. Nice. Nice. Well, I feel pretty old then. If you're 37, I'm feeling pretty old. All right. But you're only as old as you feel, and I feel pretty old sometimes. I don't know about you guys, but with my life, the fast and furious life that I have with all my kids and everything that I got going on in life all the time, I'm telling you, I honestly feel old. So with that being said, I'm going to bring on my friend Hayden tonight. So if you guys would do me a big favor and give him a warm welcome as he comes in here. All right. Good to see you, Hayden.
What's going on, guys?
I'm going to fix this. There we go. Boom. Perfect.
Hey, there I am.
So much better. You're just a little thumbnail down there. I don't know what was going on. Frankie J, good to see you, brother. Always good seeing you. Awesome, man. So, it's good. Actually, I'm looking at my screen. So my wife always says, I just wish you would do something with your camera, because every time you look at the screen, it's like people are going to think you're rude and not looking at them. And I'm like, well, it's hard because I've got a Sony camera that's on an arm. And if I put it in the middle, I can't see the screen if there's stuff going on. And then I have my phone. I'm actually recording tonight off my iPhone. So It's actually on a charger, but I don't know if do you have a Mac?
No, I just have an iPhone and iPad.
Okay. So I have a Mac. And so if you get your phone close enough to your Mac, it'll actually link to your computer as a camera. And but you have to have it in reverse. You can't have it like in FaceTime, like a selfie mode. You have to have it facing the other way. And so if it's close enough, so it's right here on a charger and I'm looking right at you, but actually my screen's right here, so I can't see.
I hear you. I'm just doing everything on my phone.
It's actually kind of funny because when I look down toward my phone, like where I'm looking right now, and it might look like I'm almost looking in the camera, but I'm actually seeing your little face in the little window on the bottom of the screen. Kind of in the green room, if you will. I don't know. But anyways, don't think that I'm not looking at you, because I'm actually looking at you in the chat. So
I'm not worried about it.
Good.
Is there a way I can see if I pull up the chat, then I don't see the. Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I'll throw everybody's message up there on the screen for you to see. That's hey Hayden, Bob right there. And we got I'm guessing, is this your dad, Randy?
Yes, sir. Hey, Pops.
Hey, welcome, Randy. Nice to meet you. All right. And we've got Brad again. Go Huskers.
Hey, Brad. was gonna say I'm gonna see a few familiar faces in here.
Big old Nebraska fan there, Mr. Brad, living there.
Yeah, unfortunately. Sorry, Brad. We're just
Yeah.
better.
Yep. Toll Booth Willie, good to see you. KKK, what's happening? Dave would say hi, but he passed out on the couch. Okay. I see how it is. I see how it is. You guys are probably wondering, what in the world is Chad wearing a long sleeve shirt tonight? It's like 80 degrees in Kansas. Well, the same I'm going to give you guys the same thing that I told Hayden. Hayden said, "You don't hear my fan in the background, do you?" And I said, "No, but do you hear my heater in the background?" I'm actually in my studio in the basement, and I have luxury vinyl flooring, and it freezes down here. I mean, I kid you not, it freezes. Every day I come down here and I got to throw the heater on. Um, and yeah, so yeah. So I will say I don't have any struggles with my air conditioner down in the basement because it's literally my hands are freezing right now. But anyways, I thought that was kind of, I'm looking at myself in the deal here, and I'm like, dude, people probably wondering, what is he doing with the long sleeve shirt on?
2 days ago, I would have been in one too. We were in the low 60s for like 3 days, which is odd for
Really?
June. Yeah,
That is weird.
We've had a pretty like what's funny is we say to ourselves, it's like, man, this has just been a weird spring, but in all reality, it's actually been a very normal spring. We're just so used to our springs being scorching hot, which is what's actually abnormal. And so this year it's like we've actually had a pretty like normal spring, 60, 70 degrees, which has been really nice. So
Nice.
but today we got into the 80s. It was still beautiful. But definitely we had to kick our AC on today. We haven't had to run it much.
Nice. Nothing wrong with that. Save some money.
Yeah, Iowa weather's crazy.
Brad said you'd have to rub it in.
Absolutely. That's my job too, as the superior team.
Wow. I feel the love in here tonight.
I love Brad. I just don't like the Huskers.
Right. Yeah. Corn Huskers.
Oh man, that's like our Super Bowl every year. If we just have to win that game, and I can go into the off season happy.
That's funny. That is hilarious. Okay. Let's see here. So we got some great people in here tonight. We've got Frankie, we got Brad, we've got Toll Booth Willie, we've got Kay, missing Dave tonight. We've got Bob. We've got your dad. It's always good having your dad, right?
Absolutely. Having Pop support me.
It's always good having your parents support you when you do.
You might see my brother pop in too. He usually tries to pop in for these things for a little bit.
Oh, man, that is so cool to have your dad and brother support you like that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm just going through the chat here. A lot of these are just, they're talking to each other in the chat.
Now, Miss K, she follows me on Facebook or on Instagram, and I've met so many people over the last now over a year, and so I'm getting to the point now where it's getting harder to keep track of people. And so I remember she actually commented on my story today, and I'm trying to figure out who.
So Kay's a stalker. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. I shouldn't say that. She's a member of mine from the BHT. But so do you know Born Bearded Dave? He's a reviewer. He's a content creator.
He's got a real nice
white beard.
Yeah.
Amazing straight white beard, and his voice is so relaxing it'll put you to sleep. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Don't tell him I said that, okay? Don't tell him I said that. I was kidding with him the other day because he said that he was on the Trace Amigos show, and they said, he's got a documentary voice, just a great one. And I was thinking, that may not be the best choice of words to say. But yeah, listening to him is like easy, like a Sunday morning.
I got you.
Now, it's so simple, just laid back, no anxiety. Just you can, they have the binaural beats that you can go to sleep to and you can study to. Well, when you listen to Dave's voice, it's like a binaural. I can't even say it. Binaural voice.
Gotcha.
It
Gotcha.
helps you just focus and like listen. So I really like him, but I like K too. That's his girlfriend, Beyonce
Okay.
girlfriend.
Okay.
And so great people. She said that let's see here. Brad will do when he wakes up. He's got a headache after recording all morning. So hopefully, and that helps. So he does a lot of recordings, like content creations and uh, things like that. He's a reviewer, a really good one, and he's a great guy. I really like him a lot. Antonio says the Acreage squeeze butter is actually in his beer tonight.
All
Cool.
right. Thank you, Antonio. Yeah, it's a good time of the year for it. I usually switch over to it this time of the year too. It's a little bit lighter. Um, it just I find I do better with that this time of the year. That's actually mostly all we did last year because we were still trying to work on the poured butters. Um, I just so badly wanted to avoid beeswax, not because beeswax isn't bad. Um, there's just I don't use it very often. I use it very rarely, and so for me, I wanted to get back to. I felt like butters kind of started losing what they were meant to be kind of in the industry, and that's just simply like they're here to condition our beers, like they're an extra level of defense to nourish our beards. And so I really focused on trying to just make a really lightweight, fast absorbing, just complement to the oil, that was going to be non greasy without using beeswax. So it wasn't super heavy and weighing. I'm working on a balm, that will be for that. But yeah, so we were still working on that. And so last year I had the squeeze butters locked in. And so we ended up doing that all just last year. And then going into the fall, we did the whipped butters, which were a hit. Those are I wish I could do those year round. Those are probably my favorite version of our butter, but obviously whipping them and then sending them into 90-degree heat is pretty pointless.
Yeah. Do you ever listen to that song? Do 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 do. Whip it real good when you make your beer butter. Kind of gets you in the moment and in the mood.
I can't say I have listened to it, but now it might go through my mind when
Now
I
you're
make
gonna be
them.
stuck. Yeah. You know,
Yeah, because I'm about to I have a batch chilling in the fridge. So I actually still hand mix my butters, even in the summertime, because like I was telling you, when I make mine, if you were to just pour it straight, everything would kind of just separate because mine has a slightly probably higher oil content than most people's. And so like if you were to just pour it, set it in the fridge and pop it out, it would almost just kind of like turn back to gel. And so when I make mine, I usually hand mix mine. It's like you're tempering it. You're kind of bringing it back to its normal state. You're trying to work those oils into the butters so that hopefully they'll survive transit a little bit better. But yeah, I've got some chilling in the fridge right now, and when I get off here, I'm gonna be right back to it with my whisk, mixing those together and getting those poured before I call it a night because we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. We have a new drop this Friday, plus we have our whole family coming into town. So
oh wow.
we're trying to get ready for a drop and 8 people coming into town to stay on the acreage. So yeah, we're kind of fighting two battles. We're trying to get the house ready and we're trying to get ready for this drop. So we're trying to have like as much made as possible so that we can just pump things out next Monday morning real fast.
Very cool. Yeah, I gotta love that when that happens.
Yeah,
It sounds
well,
like a
and it's
great idea, and then all of a sudden
well,
you're like,
and then
oh,
it's like shoot, and it's Father's Day weekend. Like it just we always try to drop mid-month. That's just kind of the rotation we've gotten on. I feel like everybody drops on the first of every month, and so we kind of just got into the habit of dropping more like mid-month because we're you just get so lost in the mix, when you drop at the beginning of the month. And so we've always kind of just done the middle of the month, like 13th to 16th range. And this month it was like, yeah, we're still gonna drop on. I think the 13th is Friday.
hmm,
And then like a week ago, I was like, oh no. I was like, that's company's coming and it's Father's Day. So
yeah,
yeah, it's I guess it's just a blitz to the end, and then we'll get a little breather. Hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. So Bob says, is that Kellogg's cornflakes rooster on Hayden's shirt asking for a friend?
Are you asking for Brad?
That's
Just
funny.
curious.
That's funny. Let's see here. So we got Chris in here from True North. Good to see you, Chris.
Oh,
Always
hey,
good
hey,
seeing you.
Chris.
Welcome, my friend. Hey, Jeffrey, man. What's going on, brother? Haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully you're doing good, man. That beard's looking fantastic in the picture. When the cream sits out too long, you must whip it.
Yes, sir.
Always good seeing him. Hey, your brother showed up, Ben.
I told
Good
you
to
he
see you, Ben.
probably. Oh, actually, no, that is Ben Despain. Why
This
is
is another Despain, maybe a long lost relative that you didn't
that?
know.
Might I don't know if he's using a code name or what.
You're like, wait a
I
minute,
have a I
this is
have
like
a
my
cousin.
cousin Eddie here.
I have a cousin Ben. Maybe that's my cousin Ben.
Hey, there's nothing like a cousin Eddie. You know it? Coming
Oh
by
man,
Clark Griswold.
Absolutely. But Brad is my number one critic when it comes to how long my balm's taking. I actually no, he doesn't criticize me. He just always reminds me anytime I do a live or anything, if I appear on the camera, he always makes sure to ask about the balm. I am very close. I'm very close. And so my hope is once we get soaps dropped, we get through this pirate series, we'll be closer to the back end of summer. My hope is that near the end of summer we'll be able to kind of slot that balm in. That's my hope. I'm still not concrete on it. I've got so many things in the pipeline this year that I'm trying not to just drop it all at once, because then we will be okay, so that is my cousin Ben. Well, hello, uncle and cousin.
So the balm, is that like a reformulation or is it like your first balm? Or
It'll be our first balm entirely.
that's cool.
It's kind of a play. It's kind of a play on the butter. It's basically I'm trying to go for a still kind of like a conditioning balm. It'll probably be more of like a medium hold. Um, so that's kind of what I'm going for. I still want it to be kind of lightweight. I don't want it to be super heavy, but there are some guys who just really, really like that, being able to tame the flyaways. And I have days like that too. I mean, especially when it starts getting humid. I've got like rabbi curls on the ends of my sideburns, and so there are some days where I just find I need to throw a little bit of beeswax in there. Um, but yeah, so it's going to be similar to the balm. It'll still be pretty smooth and creamy, but it'll have that added beeswax. So that should be nice.
Cool. Let's see here. Will that have the Babasu in it?
Oh,
Well,
absolutely. Babasu, the Babasu has kind of become like my signature ingredient. That is my personal favorite oil. I honestly have days where I actually will just put 100% Babasu in my beard. I'll just take a little bit and rub it in, and I love the stuff for my type of beard, just with it being real coarse and wiry. Um, that stuff just works wonders. I mean, it does like everything that coconut oil does, which I love coconut oil. I don't personally have any issues with it, but it gets that deep, nourishing, conditioning aspect without the the high fat content. And so the fact that it does what it does while also being a zero on the comedogenic scale is just incredible. So I try to incorporate it into everything that I make, because I'm a firm believer that, like, if you were to only have one oil, I mean, heck, you could make a butter out of Babasu. You could whip it up and make a butter out of it. Actually, that's actually kind of becoming a popular thing, is people whip Babasu oil. Just again, unfortunately, it doesn't hold up in transit. And so I've done that. And then I actually have incorporated it into my soaps, which also feels really good. Helps give it a really nice lather. Um, but yeah, I actually, from when I first started making my oils, I've upped my Babasu content by quite a bit because I just, the more I use it, I was like, you know what, this stuff is just really good. And so I actually increased it in my blend, um, probably just a few months ago. And now, yeah, that's kind of the foundation of a lot of my products is that Babasu.
Awesome.
Soaps as well. What all? Yeah, so soaps are on the way. That is something that we just had a lot of requests for. So I have some different recipes that I'm working on. I actually have some soaps that are ready to go. But the main soaps that I'm working on that are going to kind of be like the mainstays are going to be more purpose driven, I guess. It's not going to be so much about just, man, this soap smells really good. Like it's going to be very functional. We're trying to come up with stuff that meets different needs based on your skin type or just, what you're doing, what you do for work. Whether it's you need something that's going to be really cleansing, especially like mechanics. We're trying to come up with a charcoal bar that's got a really nice heavy sandy grit. That'll be for people who need to get grease off their hands, or if they're working in the shop and they're something that's going to cleanse your hands but not dry you out. We also have like a sensitive skin bar that we're doing that's going to be really good for eczema, psoriasis. Now I can't label any of this, but in theory, these things should be aided when you're using these soaps. We have an antioxidant bar that's going to be moringa leaf. We have a chamomile or chamomile, however you pronounce it. We have a bar for that. We've got a black tea and bergamot bar. So those are all going to be essential oil based, 100% natural, organic. Um, and then we'll also have a few fragrance bars because there are some people, especially like people who are used to like Dr. Squatch or Everyman Jack. They're kind of used to that like really just strong smelling soap in their shower. And that's really just, they just want a good bar of soap that smells good. So we're going to have a few of those. Like our barbershop bar, we couldn't make it with 100% essential oils. We do use like fragrance in those. So we'll have a few bars like that. And the barbershop bar is fantastic. It's really good. It's more of like it's not like your traditional talc. It's which I love. I love the talc barbershops. My barber shop has talc in it. Um, but the bar is more of like a spicy aftershave, like a citrusy aftershave scent, and it smells really good. Um, so yeah, we also have a pine tar, like an authentic pine tar bar that pours out like molasses. I mean, it's really thick stuff. So we're doing that. That's going to be a really good bar too for people with eczema and sensitive skin. Our other one's going to be an unscented tallow bar with Karanja oil, which is really good for skin healing, stuff like, if you got scratches or burns, the tallow and the Karanja oil are going to be really really good for it. It'll also have aloe in it, and so it's a lot of healing properties, a lot of nourishing properties, stuff to help the skin heal naturally the way it's supposed to. So yeah, lots of soaps coming. We make beard oils, beard butters, we do the parfums. um, we do a lotion. The lotion hasn't really ever been super popular, but we also don't push it very much. We have a few people that really like it. It's a goat's milk lotion with some of our mainline fragrances added. But I am going to start. I have a few essential oil blends that I really want to start incorporated into the goat's milk now. I'm actually working on a tea infusion olive oil that will go into the soaps. I actually posted about that in the group today. It's got different tea leaves that actually just sit and concentrate into olive oil. Um, and those will go into soaps as well. And my hope is that eventually I'll make a body butter with that same infused olive
Infusion.
oil. Yep. The tea, I've been going down a rabbit hole about tea, and I'm a huge tea drinker. I drink it year round. This time of the year, it's like nothing but just black sweet tea. But come winter time, I do a lot of different like herbal teas, and like I've got one that is a bergamot, vanilla, and like caramel. That's just it's divine. So I love teas to begin with, and I love what they do for you internally. And then after reading more, I found out that there's just as many, if not more, benefits of using tea on your skin. And so I'm really trying to incorporate those infusions into some future products. So that's been fun. That's what I love about what we do is there's an endless amount of knowledge that you're just always gaining. And so it's like, okay, we did beard oils, but that doesn't mean we're just done. Like that, there's always more room to continue learning and improving. I mean, that's just like like I was saying earlier. That's why I ended up adding more Babasu to my oil, and like our eventually our homestead blend is actually going. The hemp is actually we're gonna go to our limited blend as our new homestead blend. Um, I've loved using the borage oil, and so that's gonna end up replacing hemp. It has a better shelf life too, which I really like. Um, but so many people loved our limited blend when we released it last fall that that's kind of just been what we've used for all of our releases now. And so it's like, you know what, everybody kind of prefers it. I've actually had people be like, can you just do the limited blend, in my main line when they order. And so it just got to the point where it's like, oh, this seems to be the biggest hit. And so eventually everything will just be switched to that limited blend. So yeah, and then my wife does stuff completely separately. She does a lot of like handmade stuff. She makes bracelets, quilts, towels, soap holders, pot holders.
That's what's on
Um,
your website, right?
hmm
The
Yeah, she's the String Project.
That's what it is. Yep.
Yep, she started that when she was 16, so she's been doing
Wow.
that now for almost 17 years. This month, she turns 33. So,
And you guys
um,
are young.
yeah,
How old are you?
I don't feel young.
How old are
Maybe,
you?
but I'm 33.
Wow. I don't even remember that age. No, I'm just kidding.
Mm,
Seems like almost a decade ago. I'm getting old.
was
You're
it?
only as old as you look. I'm trying to look as young as I can.
I aged pretty well up until about 3 years ago, and then it all just went downhill.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
You don't
we.
look that old.
Oh man, I was 70 pounds lighter, a lot less hairy,
You got
a lot
happier.
less. Huh?
You got happier and more comfortable, didn't
Mm,
you?
yeah, we'll call it that. That's what we'll go with.
That's
No,
fun.
we took on the Acreage property. We started a business. We now have two businesses with the Acreage. Um, so yeah, we were remodeling this house. Uh, at the time, I had just been let go from my job as a uh, kind of a sort of management position. I worked with management with a remodeling company with my dad. Um, that was like at the height of COVID. We got let go. We had just kind of like come up with a 5 year plan, um, like how we're gonna acquire the acreage, how we're gonna pay for it, and it was like, all right, we're gonna stay in Ankeny for 5 years. We're gonna keep working this job. I was making good money. It's like, and if we just save like 20% of my salary every year, we'll be able to pay this thing off in cash when we're done in 5 years. And then like the next week, right after, so a family member actually had purchased the property, because around here, if you don't scoop up a property, it gets turned into farmland quick. Like it Nothing lasts around here. People really really try to preserve what they have going out here, and that's just, I mean, good old heartland of America. I mean, there's no big cities within an hour of where we live. It's just all farmland. So a family member bought it and was basically like, if you guys end up wanting it, it's yours. But in the meantime, we're just gonna buy it so that the land is ours, and then we'll determine what we're gonna do with the house. And so the plan was in 5 years we were gonna buy it. And then that didn't happen. Literally the week after the house was paid for, I was let go from my job.
Wow, that's
It was
crazy.
like, and it was completely out of the blue. I mean, in my mind, it was something that's like I think I could do this for the rest of my life. I was helping finish cabinetry. I was helping with kind of the production side of the remodeling company, where it's like helping with more of the logistics side of it. And then on top of that, I was helping with like finish carpentry, which I love doing. I love spraying lacquer and stuff like that. Which is a whole nother thing. But I got really good at it. I thought it was going to be something that I did for a long time, and then I was actually homesick one day, and the owner called me, and he didn't even know that I was homesick. He was like, "Have you talked to your dad?" I was like, no." He's like, "Oh, well, yeah, we're letting you guys go." Like, oh,
Wow, that stinks.
so yeah, I got a call at home while I was sick and was told that I was going to be unemployed. So,
Wow.
yeah. So that was, yeah, that's kind of,
One door closed, another one opens.
yeah. So we kind of just were like, well, there's really no reason to stay here. We might as well move out to the acreage and bum it out for a while, which we literally did. We lived in a camper for a bit, and then we lived in my in law's basement for a bit while we remodeled the house. It needed a lot of work. It had been not, I mean, the owner had been gone for 5 years. He had passed away, and the son was just trying to do his best to keep up with it. So yeah, we took it on and just kind of slummed it for a while. We started our first business while living in the basement of my in-laws. And then we got in here about 8 months later, got into the house once it was in livable conditions. Um, and yeah, now I mean, we've reshaped the whole property. We've remodeled a good chunk of the house, replaced a lot of the major components of the house. Now we have like 100 chickens.
Wow.
We went from 0 to 100 in like a month. We've been trying to work our way up to chickens for a while, and then now that egg prices just skyrocketed, we were like,
Right.
I think now is probably the best time, than ever to do it.
Just
So
zero to
yeah,
100.
now we have 100. Yeah, the plan
That's
was like
crazy.
20.
Wow.
So yeah, there's just a lot going on. There's just a lot going on. We have 3 kids. Our oldest is 13. Our middle is 6, turning 7 in August, and then our youngest is a year old. She turned
Wow.
1 in January. So yeah, kind of spread out.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you. So she's a little spitfire.
I
she
bet.
she's making her youngest child identity known, I guess.
And that's funny. Very cool, man. So, Brad, getting back to some of these questions, Brad asked, do you have a mustache wax that's in the works by chance?
Currently, no. It's actually not really something I've done much looking into yet. Um, the few companies I know who did them kind of just stopped making them because they just weren't really selling. Um,
Kind of
I know there's a need for them. So it's one of those things where it's like maybe someday we'll play around with that, but there was just a lot more pressing things, I guess. The balm being one of them, and then like the soaps, and then the deodorants, which is actually that's the I forgot to mention that we just released our deodorants 2 weeks ago. That was something that was a very, very like rigorous
learning
testing
curve.
phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many ways you can make natural deodorant, um, and almost all of them lead to the same result of the stick either drying out or like getting pasty. And so it took a long time to cut, which some people are perfectly fine with. I mean, Dr. Squatch has made, they're $1 billion company and they sell pasty charcoal deodorant. It's all about preference, but for me, I like a really smooth, like I wanted to make a deodorant that feels just like what you would buy from like Dove or old, like a really smooth, hard, a smooth but hard, but it goes on smooth. I mean, it just melts right on. And so it took a long time, and a lot of wasted material trying to come up with that.
Do you
And
use the sodium bicarbonate by chance
I
in
I
yours?
I do not.
Yeah.
I do not use baking soda. I don't use anything baking soda. I don't use aluminum. It is, so I'll just read the ingredients. It's cetearyl alcohol, mid chain tried gis MCT oil, MCT oil, fractionated coconut oil, arrowroot powder, babasu, which is again one of the main ingredients, tapioca starch, shea butter, fragrance, coconut oil, beeswax, and then magnesium hydroxide, which is just another. The magnesium is actually there more to it. So I tried to make a complete, like a perfectly balanced pH deodorant. And what I've found is I think a lot of issues with deodorant on the market is the pH isn't balanced. And so, yes, they might absorb moisture and they might make your armpit smell good, but if your pH is getting off balance, eventually you're still gonna stink. And so I really tried to go for a stick of deodorant that would also agree with your normal neutral pH levels. And so that was another reason it took so long. Um, so that's what the magnesium hydroxide is mostly for. It does have, some people actually use that in place of sodium bicarbonate, because it does a lot of the same things. It just doesn't have that sensitivity that a lot of people have. Um, but yeah, arrowroot and tapioca starch are going to be your moisture absorbing
Hmm.
powders. That's the heavy hitters. Um, and
It's really
then
good
the
too with absorbing for sure.
Yep,
The
yep. And
sweat and
so,
all that.
but yeah, I mean, it. I mean, when you look at it, it looks just like what you would get from a major. I mean, it's a nice, smooth, hard stick of deodorant. It works really well. The coconut and the babasu really help eliminate that bacteria.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's the other thing is a lot of people, I think, don't. There's just not enough education out there right now going out about what products are supposed to be doing. And so people, like we were lied to for so long about, oh, we'll just use this because it stops your sweat, when in all reality that's horrible for you. Like you're literally just allowing toxins to build up into your body, and so that's why you start to smell so bad. And that's why you, like for me, when I was using aluminum deodorant, I would just have like full body breakouts, and that's because you're not allowing your body to secrete any of these bacteria, these bad bacterias, and you're not promoting the healthy growth of good bacterias. And so that's what you should be using in a deodorant. And so I was trying to break the mold, get away from what a lot of people use, which is the traditional just shea butter and beeswax. Which again, there's nothing wrong with it. I try to do everything different, I guess, because I mean I'm trying to stand out. That's what you want to do, but also just I want things, if it's a preference I have, I'm going to make it that way. I'm not going to just go industry standard. This is how everybody else does it, so it's tallow or shea. Like that's kind of just where everybody's landed. And so I went a different route and went for a really nice. And the other thing too is a lot of guys would say, they would ask me as I was making it, it's like, is it going to tear my armpit hairs out? And so that was something that just in my mind, it's like for ladies, yeah, the shea butter, beeswax, great. Most, unless you as a lady don't shave your armpits, which is
Hey,
fine.
don't make fun of people. Don't
I'm
make fun
not,
of them. I'm
I'm
just
not
kidding.
making that. If that's what you want to do, go for it. Um,
That's funny.
but yeah, that was a question I kept getting was, is it going to drag or is it going to pull on the hairs? And for me, that was a big deal too. There was nothing worse than waking up and the first thing you do is you just start peeling out your armpit hairs with your
Oh yeah.
deodorant.
Or
Yeah, I mean,
clumpy pieces underneath your, like in your armpit hair.
yeah, and so and I had a lot of shirts that just started getting, you know, all that shea butter and beeswax just
Mm-hmm.
started building up. And so I went for more of an oil-based deodorant, because it was like, well, in my mind, what we want this more to, like, yes, you want it to coat it in a sense, but we kind of want it to do what our beard products do, where we want it to absorb. We want
Mm-hmm.
it to actually penetrate the skin. And so with like the beeswax and the shea, those aren't really known to do that. It's more of it's going to sit on the top a little bit more.
Cover it,
Um, yeah, like it's going to get those top layers of skin, absolutely, but it's
but
not
not
really
really
going to.
absorb deeply.
No, it's not gonna nourish deeply. And so that's kind of the route I went with the deodorant. And I think it turned out fantastic. It really is good stuff. We've had most products end up, so now mind you, I literally went through 50 different formulas, and so I went through most of that on my own. But typically when we release things out to like for people to sample, we usually at least get one or two people who have a comment of what we could improve on. And when we released the deal, and we released quite a few to a lot of different people in all different ways of life. People who work in factories, people who just work retail, people who are just in school, whatever. All walks of life, and not a single person had a critique for our deodorant, which was really nice. I mean, when you make something and you release it to the world, you hope that will happen. Um, but we had guys who said they had never had a deodorant work for them. One of my good buddies, Mike Green. I don't know if you know Michael Green, but he's one
Five.
of he's one of the admins for the Bearded Brothers, the Brothers United group, on Facebook. He had yet to find a deodorant that worked for him. I think he's the one who works in the factory. But he said his job just is very demanding of his body. He just sweats horribly, and he said he had yet to find a deodorant that would get him through the day without having to reapply a bunch of times. And so for him, it's like when I sent it to him, I was like, all right, this is the test. Like, this is, if it works for this guy, I think we're good. And he said he's not used anything else since. He loved it. He said it works for him. He actually said it's helped him stop sweating as much, which is, that's what you want. You don't want it to completely stop, but you want to notice less, with those absorbing powders. Um, so yeah, it's been a big hit. I'm super proud of the deodorants, and just, my wife was about sick of me by the time I was done making those, because I was making them every day. They were just trying different, and it's
Formulas.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Formulations.
And when you make a formula, I mean, it might be as simple as, what, I'm going to do like 2 milliliters less of this than I did this time. I
Makes a
mean,
big difference.
yeah, and that's
Huge
what I
difference.
started. That's what I started fighting. It's like just that little tiny tweak in the coconut or the babasu or the ceteryl alcohol, like just these little tiny fractions of tweaks would make a huge difference in the overall feel. And so when I finally landed, and I have a bad habit of not writing stuff down, and so there would be days where I'd make one and be like, "Oh, that's perfect." Crap, I didn't write it
Oh no, I get it. It's like those best moments, genius moments. You're like, oh, it wasn't recorded.
Yeah, my first butter I ever actually made, that happened to me. I had a butter that, kind of when it was more just in the, is this really going to be a business, or is this just going to be a
Hobby.
hobby?
Mm-hmm.
I had a butter that I had made that was, I mean, it was so good. And the three people I'd sent it to were just like, if this is how it feels, I'll never use a different butter again. And I'm like, great. I don't know how I made it. I don't remember. It was just, I was excited. It was like, I just want to start throwing stuff in a pot and melting things, and seeing where we go with it. And yeah, I still have a tiny little 1 ounce tin that I use sparingly because it's the only one I have. And then I spent the next 6 months trying to recreate it as best as I could. And so, yeah,
Man.
that's just one of those fun things that come with this hobby slash business.
Right. No, I get it. I spent the last several months with BHT grooming company that I've just started myself, going over different formulations, and I'm telling you, I know exactly what you're saying, dude. I've got
Mhm.
notepads written down like different formulas, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I like that, but I don't like that. I
Yeah.
trust me. I get it for sure.
I
In fact,
started with just a piece of cardboard with a Sharpie.
oh,
That's
you
what I
did.
started with. Yep. I was in the
It-
basement and I just ripped off a piece of cardboard. I was like, I need to document this. And so I just started writing with a Sharpie on a piece of cardboard. And then
That's
eventually
funny.
it got so much oil on it I couldn't read my notes anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's like when inspiration hits you, you got to write it down.
Yeah.
I just released a video to my members, um, going over a butter that I just released not too long ago. Well, obviously last week. So you've been doing this for how long now?
Just over a year.
Wow.
So well, okay, the business side of things a year. I had
Congrats,
started
by the
kind.
way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I want to say May 1st was our like official launch anniversary.
Hmm,
And actually today is our 1 year anniversary of our Facebook group. So that was kind of
nice.
fun. Um, Facebook actually sent me a notification telling me that. I was like,
Hmm,
those kind of things I just can't keep track of it.
right.
Um, but in terms of like how long have I been toiling with it, it's been closer to 2 years, I would say. Um, I had kind of started researching about 2 years ago and then starting to play around with things about 18 months ago. I did a lot of research before I ever bought a single thing because it was
Hmm.
just, it's like, I'm not gonna, at the
Wasting money.
time, yeah, at the time, money was tight.
Hmm.
We were still coming off the remodel. We were kind of still in the beginning stages of our first business. It was doing well enough that it was paying our bills. That was about it. And we had just depleted our savings from remodeling the house, and so it was like there was just no room to take on any big new ventures. And it's funny. I tell this story anytime I talk about the start of the acreage. When I finally got my wife Carrie to like get on board with me playing around with this stuff, her exact words were, "You can do this if it's going to save us money." Because I was buying a lot of beard products. Don't get me wrong, I
Hmm.
was buying a lot of. We've all been there.
Oh
That's
yeah.
how we get into
It's a
this.
rabbit hole.
Yeah, you start wanting to try everything. You want to try the different
Hmm.
blends. You want to try the different scents. And I'm a huge fragrance, not snob, but I mean
Connoisseur.
connoisseur. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've loved fragrance since I was a little boy. That's just what speaks to me. That's just
Hmm.
kind of like my love language. That's how my memories are unlocked, and that's just
Nostalgia.
yeah. I mean, it's like I can look at you and kind of feel something, but if I smell something
You
that is
remember.
familiar, yeah, it just invokes something very different.
Hmm.
And so I've always been very big on smell. Um, and so I don't even, where was I going with that? I just got
You're
myself off.
you were talking about how you're saving money because you
Oh
started the
yeah,
business.
yeah. So it was just so she said, if it saves us money and you're buying less beard products, fine, but don't make a business out of this. That was,
Yeah.
and next thing we know, a few months later, I started just sending stuff to people because I wanted feedback. Is like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
do you
That's what
think of
you do.
this? It's like I'm curious what you think of this, and I was having such a good experience in just how my beard was reacting to everything, and next thing I know, my wife's just like, "You would be good at this." It's like, I think you actually have something here, and I hate to admit it, but I think you actually do need to run with it.
Wow.
And so that's kind of where it all began.
Wow.
I was given very strict instructions that this was not supposed to happen, but it did. So, and I'm very glad that she came to that conclusion, because the acreage has been a huge blessing to our family. It has helped us just financially get back to a better place. It's allowed us to meet a lot of really good people, a lot of good people actually in the chat right now.
Sure.
Those are a lot of the people that have been asking questions were kind of our first supporters. They were kind of the first people who were willing to give us a chance and kind of start spreading the word. And so, when it comes to businesses like these, without those people, uh, you don't it's a failure to launch. I
Yeah.
mean, you can only do so much on your own. And I was, in
Right.
terms of like, my name carried a little bit of weight in the beer community just because I'd been active and buying my own. I did informal reviews. Like, it wasn't anything professional, but I talked about stuff on my different groups, and I'm in soap groups and beer groups and stuff like that. And so, like, my name was out there, and so that carried a little bit of weight. But in terms of people earning, your trust, that's going to take other people talking for you.
Hmm.
And so, to me, word of mouth is still, the number one marketing strategy. And so we rely
Absolutely.
heavily. Yeah. So those guys, like Robert and Terry and Greg Hall and Brad. I mean, those guys were huge supporters early on, and there's countless others. But those guys, I mean, they even try to tune in to anytime we do a live or anything, and so they've just been huge supporters, and really appreciate that. Oh, Jeremy, hey man, he's yeah, he just recently tried us too, and he loved the ranch hand. So I appreciate that, Jeremy. Um, that was my fourth scent that I ever created, and probably my wife's least favorite. But it's 50-50 with the ladies. The ladies are either gonna love it or hate it. It was definitely just geared towards men who love good, rugged, um, masculine scent. Smoky leather cedar basically is with a little bit of vanilla, just to kind of the smoke and the cedar were a little pungent. They were a little rough around the edge, and so I added a little bit of vanilla to kind of round that out. And so, yeah, it's great though. I mean, if you've ever been in like a saddle barn, um, it's pretty darn close to that. I mean, if you've been like, to me, I called it the ranch hand because it was like, this guy just got done sitting out all night by a fire, tending to cattle, and now he's hanging up his saddle. Like, that's kind of just where I landed on the name, and so it's pretty good.
Squalene, essential oils, and hints of fragrances. There's magic in there somewhere. Squalene's expensive
Yeah, it
oil for
is.
sure.
That is something. So I have I
It's
have
great.
I have a
Great
one
stuff.
pound. Yep, I have a 1 pound bottle that I've played around with just for my personal use. It makes great soap. I'm actually trying to incorporate it into another product that I'm working on for guys with white and gray beards. It's actually just going to be called the Silver Fox. It's a unscented clear oil that actually uses it. So it's squalene, castor, Abyssinian, and
Babasu?
yeah,
Just
yeah,
kidding.
yes, and back.
Is it?
Yes, thank you. Yes, so it's pretty simple, but it's effective. But
Those are
yeah,
some good
that's
oils. Those are good
that.
oils. Those are some of my top favorites.
Yep,
I
same
love
here.
castor,
Yep, castor's a great one, especially for people with
white
gray
beers.
beards. Yep, and then also like for coarse, wiry, like what I have, the castor goes a long way.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm no straight. I've had a gallon of it sitting in my cart at one of my suppliers for probably 6 months, and
You
I
don't want to pull the
still
trigger.
I
It's
not pulled
expensive.
it, because yeah, I mean it's like,
I wanted to put some of that in my own beard oil, and I thought, I just can't. I just can't justify. I mean, at least right now, but it's just expensive.
yeah, some of them,
Go.
I've it, not to be a snob, but I've had some guys, tell me, they're like, my carrier is, some of this stuff's pretty expensive, and it's like, yeah, Yeah, but
Yeah.
I've seen worse. I know
Hmm.
from experience there are much nothing we use is really super cheap.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
and that was I mean, it was on purpose. I mean, we knew going in, that's why our oil does go a little bit higher than probably the
Premium.
industry. Yeah, I mean, it's a little above the industry standard, but we tried not to go too high.
Hmm.
I've never had a single person complain about prices, which I am very appreciative of. But when we first started, some of our, I think our homestead blend was 1999, and even that was like, gosh, that's pushing it, because like our base is pomegranate, Abyssinian, Metafoam, and Babasu, and none of
Hmm.
those are cheap oils by any means. Those
Right.
probably make up 50 to 60% of our total blend right there, just those four
Hmm.
oils. And so it was just one of those things where it's like, if we're going to keep this going for long, we kind of need to establish right off the bat that this is more on the premium side, I guess, so that way it doesn't come as a shock later. And so we've adjusted our prices a little bit. And actually, when I went into this, I was expecting the bird oil, the Acreage blend, to do better. I was expecting a lot of people to gravitate more towards the bird oil, and I can confidently say I maybe sell a dozen of those a month right now. It and that just speaks to how good the other carriers are. um and so that was actually kind of odd to me, because bird blends were all the rage, for so long.
Hmm.
And there's still so many benefits from them, but I have found that using using quality oils outside of the bird blends, you can achieve as good, if not better, results if done right.
Right.
And so
Yep.
I think a lot of people just kind of found that was the case. It was lighter in your beard, but you got the same kind of feel. And so
Yeah.
that was nice.
Well, and a lot of that, like bird oils, emu blends, and ostrich oils, a lot of people can't use those every single day either.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
just too much. They're fantastic with the fatty acids and stuff, but when you have something like just a regular, I say regular, but I'm not comparing like the oils that we're talking about to something with cheap ingredients. I'm saying
Hmm.
regular standard, what we see in the community of all the companies that we know.
Yeah.
They're high premium oils. I mean, it's you're going to pay a little bit more for premium oils. That's the difference.
Yeah, yeah, and the whole, I mean, that's kind of I mean, no different than you can go buy Bud Light. It's not a bad, well, maybe to some people it's a bad beer, but for the most part, it does fine. Or you could go get something, that's gonna have a little bit more of a premium small batch touch with craft. That's kind of how I see it. And so it's like, yes, at the end of the day, is the effect mostly the same? Probably, but there are those added, I'll call them micro benefits that you're getting that go unseen when you're using a more premium product. When I started reading about, when I first started this, it was all just, you want it to feel good, right? I mean, we look at feel and we look at smell. Those are kind of your first two indicators, and then I'd say the third is, does it leave anything behind? And that's kind of your three main indicators of how you view a beard oil. But then there's so many things that go on underneath that, underneath the surface, down to what kind of antioxidants are in it, what kind of vitamins are in it, does it have
Yeah.
healing properties, does it have anti-inflammatories? And so, like, when I started reading about pomegranate, and when I started reading about Metafoam, obviously, a lot of people are pretty familiar with.
Hmm.
And so with that one, it was like, that's a no brainer to me. Metafoam's another one that I just think everybody should have in it, because it's just such a good oil. Plus, it acts as a natural preservative, which is great.
Hmm.
Um, uh, and so I started, just doing more and more reading about these more, I don't know if you would consider them exotic, but more premium. And then you start playing around with them, and you notice those. Okay, my face isn't as red anymore. My pores are tighter. I don't have as many blackheads. You start noticing these little things that it's like beyond just, okay, it feels good in my beard, it's not greasy, and it smells good. You start to look at these other things. And so, yeah, I mean, to me, it's worth. You have some people still selling those. I never want to knock. So, like, for instance, Live Bearded. I'll use Live Bearded as an example because I love Live Bearded. um, but their blend is very basic. It
Mm-hmm.
works, no problem. But theirs is only a few dollars less than mine, and so it's like you look at those things, and then you it's like, are you if you can get by with those, absolutely, and that's fine. If you're on a budget. There's a guy actually called Beery on a Budget. He does stuff like that, and so it's like if you're on a budget, great. That's gonna work great for you. I still use some of their oil. The only one that I own of theirs is their barbershop. I'm a huge barbershop nut, and I love their barbershop. It's not really like your traditional. Um,
It's got a talc feel to it.
yeah, and then I love the kind of, it's
The
got like
aloe,
the green. It's got like a nice
aloe.
green,
Yeah.
fresh. Yeah, that aloe gives it a nice
Mm-hmm.
green, fresh smell to it. And so it's very different, and I love the smell. So for me, it's like I love the smell of it. That's the biggest reason I use it. And so I just mix a little bit of my unscented in with it, and it works great. But I've used it on its own. It's like, yeah, this will get the job done. But I do notice a difference than when you're using premium. um, Actually, you did a review on their barbershop, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
was gonna say, I think that was maybe the first. I think that was maybe the first video I watched of yours because I had just gotten it myself. And
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, and then I had seen your channel, but yeah, so it's just one of those things where it's like if there's so many options out there, which I love. Um, and so because it's so subjective, we know that what works for one person isn't going to work for another.
Right.
um, and so that's the beauty. I mean, I still promote countless brands that I personally love. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's just to name a few: Mountain State Grooming, Bearded Squirrel, Tailored. um, oh gosh, who else? Though I know those three. Oh, and Voodoo Men's Craft.
Mm-hmm.
Alex is just an awesome dude. He makes a heck. To me, they're kind of underrated, honestly. But they all make really really good products. All super good guys. Um, and it's like I'll continue using their products too. I mean, they all work. If it works, I'm gonna use it. And same with like with Live Bearded. I kind of knocked on them for a while, because I think kind of like with Dr. Squatch and soap, you kind of start to bully the big guys. um, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't sit here and say that their product sucks.
Right.
I mean, it works. Even if it
Yeah.
is basic, it does work. They have that going for them, and so it's like, there's just so many options for you know different people. Everybody has different needs, and so that's kind of the cool thing about this industry. And I think that's why we get so caught up in it, is because there are just so many things that
Right.
there are so many options, and a lot of them do different things.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have one scent that people have 12 different takes on. I mean, you could smell cherry tobacco from 12 different places, and each one has a slight difference.
Right. Exactly. So true. Pipe tobacco is all of it.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah. So you're saying that, and I was thinking in my head when you were saying that about uh, GoCon. Do you know Raven Beard Co? Have you heard of them?
Yeah, I watched the episode he did with the Bearded Respect. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's really the only way I know of him, I guess.
Yeah. So he's got a coffee infused beard oil, but
Hmm.
he's like I was thinking some of his carrier blends or his yeah, he does it's kind of weird because he's got several different blends that he does. Like it's not like a normal company that would have like, okay, this is our blend, and then maybe we have an alternative blend. No, it's like almost every different oil he comes out with has a different blend. It's crazy.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, and I don't know how he comes up with the money for this because like Bakuchi oil, never heard of that until I seen his stuff, and that
Yep.
stuff's expensive.
I've looked into it. That and like blueberry seed and like bilberry seed, like those are all
Hmm.
ones where it's like, oh my gosh, I would
I
love to
know.
get my hands on it. But
Yeah.
yeah, at you have to reel yourself in at some point.
Yeah.
I have a red raspberry seed that oil that I want to use so bad, but I mean it's $100 a pound.
That's crazy, man.
So I did do
That's niche.
yeah, that's niche quality right there. I did
That's
do a
crazy.
carrot. I did do carrot seed in my opulence.
Hmm.
I did do that, which I mean, even that stuff. I want to say that stuff is 60 or 70 a pound, still pretty expensive. Um, but again, that stuff is just so good. And so I it was kind of a play on, so opulence was all about gold and luxury and elegance. The whole theme was gold. And so it was like, I think it'd be kind of fun to add some carrot in there, because gold carrots.
Hmm.
But even just adding a tiny bit, I mean, I'm talking like 1-2% carrot seed oil in the whole blend, like it turned everything this just rich orange gold color.
Straight. Oh yeah.
And that's just, I mean, that's just, oh man, I geek out over stuff like that. And that red
Mhm.
raspberry, I use it personally. It's something that I would love to incorporate into something someday, but it's like I don't know if anybody would pay the premium. I mean, it at some point people are just like, well, there's no way it's worth that much because
Yeah.
they don't see what we see
Yeah.
in terms of
Yeah.
the cost of some of these oils, and they just, well, why does that one cost so much more than the others? That's a great question.
Yeah.
I don't always know why, but I just know that the extraction process is different. The supply is not as heavy. It's a
Yeah.
more some places you can only get it in one country. I mean, it
Yeah.
only grows there.
Exotic. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's all sorts of things. I actually haven't tried Beard Brand.
I haven't either. I've never tried Beard Brand ever.
I I actually
Surprisingly.
have, yeah, I haven't actually tried a lot of the, like, I'd say, so I started out using Fable. So they're kind of, one of the bigger, I think a lot of us start on Fable. Um they were kind of one of
Everyman
the
Jack. You ever try them?
I used their body wash. I never bought their beard oil. Yeah, I was gonna say, if it came from a store, I probably didn't try their beard oil. I did try Honest Amish way back in the
Yeah.
day, and I will say,
I mean, if you're gonna get one from the store, that'd probably be the best one to get.
yeah, I mean it wasn't
What you're getting.
terrible, but it was kind of greasy.
Yeah.
Um, but I do remember that was my first time experiencing beard products, and I do remember because like up until I started using quality beard products, I'd get to about an inch and I'd shave it all off. I mean, I would
Right.
get such horrible itch, and it
Hmm.
just drove me crazy. But Honest Amish was probably the first place where it's like, you know what, this is tolerable. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it did show me that it was
Had
there is
potential. Yeah.
yeah, there was potential for growth maybe someday. So I have not used Beard Brand. I will say I'm not a huge fan of their marketing. They kind of crap on little guys, and I don't like that.
Hmm.
Um, they have a few ads running out there that essentially make small batch companies sound like the bad guy, which I think is kind of messed up. Um, but I know they do well. I mean, I obviously they were kind of, I mean, they were kind of the pioneers of beard products, from what I understand. Um, yeah, yeah, and I don't expect Honest Amish to really work for everybody.
Hmm.
It just was one of those things. And honestly, the licorice, I had one that had like a licorice smell to it, which drove me
Yes,
nuts.
same here. That's what I was
And
thinking. Black licorice.
yeah, and I hate that smell. But at the time, it until I
Yeah,
got into this deep rabbit hole on Facebook, I would have never known there was, this like whole world of like men's grooming in small batch.
right.
And so for me, it was Duke Cannon, Everyman Jack, and then stuff like uh,
Willie, Uncle, what is it? Willie's
Wild Willies.
Wild Willies. I've never tried
Yeah,
them.
I haven't either. I actually didn't know about them until recently, and so I at this point I wouldn't probably even met.
I've
I
heard of
actually I will say I was in a Walmart and their beard oils are in like a spray bottle, which is different.
right.
Um, and like you can just pick one up off the shelf at Walmart and spray it. So I did. I'll be honest, I did that once,
Yeah. How
and,
dare you?
and it's like again, it felt like something I've used before. It felt like a sweet almond grapeseed oil blend, I guess. Take that how you will. Uh, that's what it felt like to me. Um, but I did try Badass Beard Care. I don't know in terms of size. Like I feel like they do pretty well, just based on their following and um, yeah. I mean, I feel like they do pretty well. I don't know if they're in the same league as some of those other guys, but the biggest knock I would have on theirs is, I mean, their scents were like a fart in the wind. I don't think I smelled it after 20 minutes. Um, and I know it's not all about the smell, but you want it to last a little bit longer than that.
Right.
To me, if I can get 2 hours into it, it's like, okay, I feel like I got my money's worth at least. I don't do super potent blends by any means. I kind of stay in that medium range, because I know. So for me, the reason I do that is, for one, I want it to be more about feel. I'm also a huge cologne guy, and so I don't want something interfering necessarily with what I'm wearing. Hey, speaking of Alex, here's Voodoo. What's up, man? Um, so I've always kind of gone for that medium strength because I don't want things to clash for people too much. You've got people wearing deodorants, you got people wearing cologne, and you've got the beard oil, and I know you can find ways to kind of complement each other. But then you also have guys who they do scent swaps, and so usually about 6 to 8 hours in, a lot of guys are going to put in a different scent for their evening routine. And so for me, it's like if I can get a good 6 to 8 hours, I'm pretty happy. And if it's less than that, most likely it's just the performance of that fragrance. Um, some just don't carry, like others do. Um, yeah, I've tried oil. I've actually tried putting my oil in a spray bottle, and I can't say that's the other thing. Wild Willie's like, that's a pretty thin oil if it's able to like atomize.
Hmm.
Like that was kind of the first thing, and it's like, sheesh. I know mine doesn't do that. It kind of
You kind of go.
just kind of squirt. Yeah, it
Go
plops
straight down.
almost. It's like it almost is more like a pump top when I
Yeah.
tried it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's just too thick. Um, but yeah, I tried Badass Beard Care, Fable obviously, and then I've tried lots of other companies.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ones I still have on my shelf that like are go tos would be like Voodoo and Tailored, TJ with Bearded Squirrel, and then Mountain State. The guys at Mountain State are really good guys.
I
We
gotta
actually
try their what is it, 18, whatever that
they're
tobacco one,
1886 or
something like
1887
that.
something.
Yeah, I've heard that's good.
Yeah, I have their Farron's Barbershop and Mothman. I love their barbershop. It's a really classic take. I haven't tried their newest blend, but I have their blend from, what was that? Almost 2 years ago now. I've got their Moonshine. I can't remember if their Moonshine or their Bootleg was the one that had the bird oils, but I have that one. And it's a really solid product. But mostly they're just really solid guys, and a lot of our inspiration, just in terms of like how do we want to present ourselves as a business, was actually very much inspired by them, just because we just I don't know. There's just something about the way they do things. We just felt like we had a lot of similarities, just in terms of like the way we live our life, the way we see people, the way we see, the work that we do. And so like those guys are just doing really good things. They're always trying to improve. They're always trying to make things that just truly help people, and that's a lot of why we started. It's easy to get caught up in the money, but for us, it's like we really just want to put out products that are going to help people with, if whether it's as simple as itchy skin, dry hair, oily hair, like, or we're trying to come up with stuff like, for eczema or deodorant that's going to work for you. Like, it's hard because it's never going to help everybody, but you do want to try to, hit as many people as you can. And so, yeah,
No,
that's at
I
the end of
get
the
it,
day,
man.
that's why we do what we do. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
and we get to get paid for it, and that's I get as much joy seeing an order come in as I do seeing a review that talks about how much like it improved their quality of life. And
Yeah.
so I'm huge on the reviews. I love seeing them. I love reading them. They help us as a store, but more than anything, it's like it's just fun to see what people's experiences have been, in terms of since they started using our stuff.
Yeah. By the way, I love the Duke. I love the scent, the Duke.
Thank
I
you.
do. I do. I think it's great. I do have the aficionado too, that was actually given to me by Brad, and I love the stuff. I wore it to church one night, and a buddy of mine goes, "Man, you need to stop smoking." He's making a point. I can smell it right off your beard.
Yeah.
Very potent. If I'm gonna have a fragrance, I want it to be strong. It's just
Yeah.
how I am. I mean, I'm a fragrance guy too. I've been one for years. I go through tons of fragrances, niche, designer, but that's why we wear fragrances, right? We don't use
Hmm.
fragrances because we don't really want to smell them. I mean, some people want to be discovered. I get that, but I guess it just depends on the moment. Me, I'm
Yeah.
more of I want to walk in the door and be a scent monster for the most part. I mean, if something smells great, I want everybody else to smell it.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't, I've been told before, man, dude, you need to tame down on fragrance. But I'm kind of like, with you. Um, I can even go to bed with fragrance.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even holding my thumb up. I'm just doing this, and it's thinking I'm doing that. But um, because it's relaxing to me.
Yeah,
It
it's
brings back
therapeutic.
memories, and
Yep.
it's just it's therapeutic to me. I mean, like for instance, like I never would have thought vanilla out of all things would be so relaxing to me, but it actually is when I go to bed.
Yep.
So I know we missed something Antonio said. I was going to say Bulldog. I've never used Bulldog. I've seen it in two places before. I've seen it in a Walgreens and I've seen it in Target, but I've never used it ever.
Hmm. I
I've
don't know
heard
if I
I've
did.
heard it's okay, but I think it's just one of those, same type of deals like Honest Amish. It's just going to be one of those big box store oils. So
Yeah. I will say I've had this sitting here. We have Dutchman. I actually just got the labels in.
oh, nice. That looks good, man.
So
Real nice.
I'm real I've been working on resizing um the labels to be a little more legible. So they're actually this is the they actually almost do a full wraparound now. I used to fall short a good half an inch. Um and I was getting to the point where I was like, gosh, no offense to you older guys, but I know some of you probably have struggled reading some of our labels. And so I've been really trying to work on uh, just the branding part of it. And so yeah, it's a full wraparound. It
Wow.
actually allows the artwork to be a little bit bigger too. The scent description is a little bit bigger, but the Dutchman is this is one that I feel like people are. Sometimes when you build a scent description, you know that people are going to look at it and go, "I don't think I'm going to like that." And I'm telling you guys, you can't get caught up because this has dark rum in it. And I already had somebody go, "I just don't think I'm going to like it because, that just sounds too dark." It just because it has dark rum in it, this isn't a dark scent. Um, this is I would call this almost more fresh than anything, and then the dark rum adds kind of a sweet like liqueur, kind of base to it. But this is citrus bitters, oak wood, dark rum, and cigars, and it is so nice. It's so easy to sit here and it's like, well, of course you like it, you made it, but I would not, I'm somebody who has a lot of, integrity for what I do, and if I don't like something, I don't sell it. It just goes in the bin. I mean, I won't wear it again. And the Dutchman's one that it's like I don't know. It just smells really good. You get a freshness from those citrus bitters. Um and then you get just a little bit of woodiness with the oak wood, and this is a pirate series that I'm doing. It's a 4-part series, and so I'm trying to hit on elements of that pirate life. And so for this one, you've got the citrus bitters, citrus, scurvy, oak wood, oak planks of the ship. Then you've got dark rum, obviously pirates like their rum, and then cigars. And for this, like the Dutchman is this like legendary ghost ship that did it exist or did it not? It's that legend of the Dutchman. And so for me, I wanted something that was going to hit on those like dark, mysterious elements, but not be super super dark. And so it all blended really well. It smells great. Those bitters with the rum and the cigars, like it ends up. I told somebody, I said I would actually describe it as a dark fresh scent, which is not something you see a lot. Like you either have fresh, like aquatic fresh, or you just have dark. And so I just went for something different, I guess, than what I've done in the past, and it's really, really nice. I'm wearing it right now. You get the citrus bitters and the oak wood right on top, and then after a few minutes, it goes into that kind of that sweet rum and cigar, and then every once in a while, those citrus bitters come back and kind of nip at your nose, which is really fun. Um, so this one is the labels. I love the we went with like gold coin theme, like
Nice.
treasure, and then with the green. We thought the green kind of gave it that like old school rum bottle feel.
Hmm.
Um, and so yeah, we kind of use the same like 4 bottles. We use either gloss green, gloss brown, or frosted brown, frosted green usually. We've had a few in black for like cologne scents just to give it kind of like a more classy look. Like for tuxedo and Aries, we did black bottles. But for the most part, we love the classic look of the green, and we thought the green and the gold would look really nice together. So
You're a
yeah, I'll
brave
be
guy.
wearing
You're a brave
what's
guy, by the way, using black bottles.
Oh gosh, it sucks. It's why I use them sparingly. Like Tim at Valhalla uses black for everything he releases almost. And it's like, good lord, man. I've used white bottles now. There you go. Yeah, Tim is the first small batch company I ever used. He's a
He's a
great
cool.
dude
He's a
too.
good dude. He is a good dude.
Yeah, he was kind of my inspiration for starting a small batch company, because that dude's a literal machine. I don't know when he sleeps, but it can't be often.
Right.
I mean, since I've known the guy, and been in his group, I feel like he's just I feel like he's been working the entire time. He's just always trying to do right by his people and put out good stuff. But yeah, he was Mjolnir's Return slash Thor was the first small batch product I ever tried, and to this day, that's still one of my favorite products to use. It's simple, orange sandalwood. I mean it. I'm one
Yeah.
of those guys where it's like sometimes going back to the simple
Simple is
things.
effective.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. Vanilla is one that I love. I love, and more specifically, Madagascar vanilla.
Oh,
And so
fantastic.
I'd be happy just to throw Madagascar vanilla in my beard and call it a
Oh yeah.
night. So, but yeah, he uses those black bottles. I've used white bottles before too, which are a little bit better, but like you have to have good lighting so you can kind of like see
Yeah. Yeah.
where your oil's lining up.
Right.
But yeah, the black is pretty brutal. Like we got to the point where it's like we had to use a scale just so that we could make sure we weren't overfilling too much to
Right.
where it was gonna
Come out
leak.
with the
Yeah, leak.
dropper.
So yeah, so we don't use those a lot, but we do sometimes for like our like truly cologne scents, like Aries and Tuxedo were both black bottles.
Nice.
Yeah, so aficionado, in your review, you had talked about if it was still available. It is available right now. What's funny is that scent came out last fall. It was supposed to be a limited run. Um, it sold out in 1 hour. It's to this day, it's our best seller. It
Wow.
was our fastest selling oil. We ended up, so we sold out in an hour, immediately posted a pre-sale for round two, and then it sold out in about 2 hours, and we
Wow.
were like, holy crap. It was just not something we were expecting at all, because at the
Right.
time we were pretty young. um like I knew aficionado was going to be popular. I just wasn't expecting it to be as popular as it was.
Right.
um so we are actually, so the current release is actually round six
Oh wow.
of a limited set. We finally were like, you know what, let's just leave it up for a while because we have so many people that just keep coming back and asking about it. We're
Maybe
just gonna
make
leave
a
it up for a
name.
while, and we're actually probably gonna end up just making it a main line at some point because it has been so popular. And that's another conversation entirely, but you have people all the time like, oh, this one should be mainline, and you have to be choosy. Like
Yeah.
it
Yep.
has to be a performer if I'm going to put this permanently in my lineup.
Yeah.
And so I can safely say aficionado definitely meets that criteria. And so probably next year, once we've sold all of the like limited theme with the brown and the like copper tins, we'll probably go to the more traditional branding of the frosted green. Everything mainline has that frosted green, like it's that like what the Duke looks like. It's
Yeah.
just more of
Frosted
your,
green bottle.
yep, just your simple. This is just yeah, it sets itself apart from the limited stuff a little bit more. So we'll probably do that. We're going to do a group vote at the end of the year to see what people want to come back as a main line, because we're probably only going to make room for two more right now, and then that's gonna be it.
Yeah. So it was. So I knew about the Acreage, Beard and Body. I knew about your company. I go through so many companies I hear about all the time. It's just what I do on the BHT. I have people recommend me stuff all the time, and you know, um, when you have so many, you have to start like writing down. Okay, this is what I'm gonna try. This one I'm gonna try. This one I'm gonna try. This one I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Because obviously you don't have all the money in the world to go off and buy everybody's beard products, but um, my friend that runs my Facebook page and
BJ.
group, BJ. Yep.
Yes, sir.
BJ, right. He actually said, man, dude, here's some companies that you definitely need to check out. And Voodoo Mincecraft was one of them. In fact, I talked to Alex not too long ago. I don't know if he's still on here, but them also Iowa Beard Company.
Yep.
I just purchased the Bride from IBC not too long ago.
You know, it's funny. He's one of the few people I haven't tried, and he's a fellow. I don't know why I haven't tried his stuff. He's a fellow Iowan. I just need to buy a bottle just
Yeah,
simply to
it's
support a
cheap. I
fellow.
mean, cheap
Yeah,
stuff. He
yeah,
offers free shipping, and
yeah. He
yeah,
does very
it's
well.
pretty cheap. But yeah, I tried that, and it's pretty good stuff. It's a unique scent. But I said, yeah, okay, I'm going. He's like, you need to try the Duke. He's like, I'm
Yeah, he
obsessed
loves.
with the Duke, and
Yeah,
I
he
said,
loves.
okay, I'm gonna try the Duke. And I'm going to buy some wax melts too because I'm a big, again, going back to fragrance guy. I have a studio. I burn candle. In fact, right now I'm burning this candle, which is a new one by Artiest Man called
Oh, nice,
Speak
nice.
Easy. Um, it's not bad. It's it's not my favorite, but it's a good scent. It's not the Duke, okay? It's not like a cologne scent, okay?
Yeah,
But it's a good scent. It's a good scent. I can't even tell you what's in it. I didn't even read the scent profile. I
yeah.
just said I'm going to try this because it looked cool, and I'm a big Artist Man fan. I just castor works fantastic in my beard, and I know it's like a thick castor, but it works for my beard. And I
Hmm.
don't use it all the time, but every now and then I'll put it in. And so, and I love Jeff and Michael over there. They do a fantastic job. Um, but yeah, I got that, and it's funny because I put like a cube of wax melt in, maybe two, and then all of a sudden, my whole wax melts were gone. My wife went through every one of the wax melts throughout the house and put them in there. And I go, what are you doing? I'm thinking that's for my studio, not for the house. And so, yeah. So I'm like, dang. But I haven't.
So they're projecting well.
Yeah, they do a good
Good,
job for
good.
sure.
Well, yeah, we need to get you a candle too, because and that's another thing is I actually had somebody recently was like he won our 1,000. We just hit our 1,000th order,
Oh, congrats.
with the release of Tortuga, and so we sent him a complimentary candle with his order, and he messaged me. He's like, "Dude, I'm so glad you sent this because I absolutely love your guys' candles." And he's like, "And to be completely honest, I forgot you guys sold candles."
Oh,
And
wow.
that's just, and I was like, "Well, son of a gun, that's that's on us because again, it's like it's just me and my wife. We run everything. We run all the social media. We
Right.
make everything. We ship everything. Like
It's
we're
hard.
a legit small business, and
Yeah.
so there's just some things it's like out we got past Christmas, which we were just we were hammering people with our wax products because it's just the most popular time of the year
Oh, yeah.
to do. And actually I've got my this is my peppermint
Oh,
mocha
nice.
candle. I actually usually use that when I'm doing lives. Tonight I'm not running it because I got the fan going,
Right.
but uh but yeah, coming out of Christmas, it's like we did so much promoting wax and wax melts, um, that it kind of just like we just kind of like forgot about them going into the spring because it was like we were kind of burnt out from it, and then we didn't really have anything like ready for spring. And so I'm trying to do something for summer where I'm going to do something called the lemonade stand, and it's going to be just a couple different flavors of lemonade that are
Hmm.
candle scents. So right now we're trying to do a blue raspberry lemonade, a pink lemonade, classic lemonade, and strawberry lemonade, just to kind of get wax products back on people's minds. I just know for us personally, like we'll do wax melts this time of the year. We don't do candles as much, um, but it's like when you think of summertime, I guess you just don't think of necessarily burning a candle, and so even we kind of fell prey to that. But we love our wax products. We use a coconut apricot wax for our candles, which is just phenomenal wax. It's clean burning. It just there's little to no soot at all, and so we take a lot of pride in those. And then obviously our we love our wax melts. Those we still sell those, pretty regularly, even without promoting them super often.
Hmm.
Dutchman is going to be beard oil, the beard butters. If you want it in a squeeze butter, I'll just whoop. I'll just use the circle label and throw it on a squeeze butter. It was getting to the point where making both labels, not knowing if people were going to buy one or the other, I'm just going to use the circle labels. Because a lot of people still prefer the tins now that we've got them. But yeah, and then we'll have the cologne, and then I'll probably go ahead. I did wax melts with Tortuga, and we actually sold out of them. Um, and so I'll probably go ahead and do wax melts because actually, even just when I was adding the fragrance to the butters, this has really good projection too, especially when you add heat to it. And so I have a feeling it's going to throw pretty good with the wax. So I'll probably do a little run of wax melts with it too, and then pretty much with any of my scents, like I actually had. So I saw you had mentioned an aficionado candle in your video. Uh, Sean DeLuca had actually asked me. He made a special request for an aficionado candle, and he ended up going through it in just like 2 weeks, and immediately came back. Was like, "Can you make me another one?"
Wow.
He's like, "I just ripped right
He
through that
stayed
thing."
in that same room all for the every day, all day.
Yep, yep.
Crazy.
And so, and which is impressive because our candles probably get a good 40 hours of burn time. And so,
Right.
yeah, he rips through that thing pretty
Wow.
fast.
That's crazy.
But yeah, and even our wax melts, like we've noticed, like I mean, you should be able to use those for quite a while before they
Hmm.
start to like really get weak. I mean,
Right.
we did an Aphrodite one in our room, and it was like, my goodness, like it's in a one of those like heat lamp things. It's like a night light slash wax melter.
Right. Goes
And
into the
so
wall or not?
not this one. This one's just a nightstand one, but
Okay.
like I just use it at night just for the light. And I just kept noticing, like, my goodness, that smell just keeps coming back. And it had been like 2 weeks of running those same two cubes. And it's just I think we just happened to find some waxes that just really hold scent well. And so, and
A
same
lot
with
better
the,
than soy.
yeah, I'm not, soy is great in theory, but
You don't
it,
get a lot of scent throw off
you
those, do you?
no, you don't. Like
I've noticed that too.
a lot of soy and beeswax products just unfortunately they're very temperamental. And I call it the fragrance dies a lot
Hmm.
in those waxes. It's like, where the heck did it go?
Yeah.
Like you can put an ounce of fragrance in your batch and then you go to smell and it's like, I don't understand it. It's just not there. I mean, it's
Right.
like it just gets trapped in the wax molecules. So, so that's why the coconut apple, it's a softer wax, but my goodness, I mean, it has such good throw. And then for our wax melts, we're switching to a cocoa beeswax. And so it's like it's a mix of coconut wax and beeswax,
Hmm.
which is another really really good one.
Hmm.
Cocoa soy is better than straight soy. I think people are starting to realize like we have these other natural ways of burning wax, and so a lot of these are now getting added to soy. So you get the integrity and like the structure of soy,
Hmm.
but then they're adding stuff like coconut or apricot, or beeswax, even doing like soy beeswax blends, which for me, that other than a wax melt, I don't know if I would ever use that. But like the cocoa soy is great because it basically softens up the soy and gives you a better throw. And so I think the industry's finally catching up with the times, and we're getting away from just this 100% soy mentality, which
Yeah.
again, it's like it's great if you can get it to work for you on a regular basis, great. But I see a lot of these big natural brands who do this 100% soy, and a lot of times you'll go into the comments and it's like, well, this candle threw great, but then this one I didn't smell anything, and that just kind
Right.
of seems to be the story with soy. I know that's my experience. I rarely buy a soy product for that reason. So
And
so
that
yeah, we have.
cocoa apricot's probably not too pricey either, is it?
No, it's not too. It's honestly only a little bit more than the soy.
Hmm.
It's to me, it's worth every penny because not to mention soy is really, if it comes in a block, my goodness, good luck, dude. Like you're gonna be
Right.
sawing that thing to pieces.
Oh
Where
yeah.
with like the coconut
Pellets.
apricot, I mean, it's almost like if you were to, I mean, it's like opening a thing of coconut oil. You can almost scoop it out.
Oh
It's just
wow.
a really
Hmm.
nice, silky, smooth. I mean, the melting point is lower, so a lot of people will add a little bit of beeswax or a little bit of soy to it just to help keep it from melting during the summer.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great wax. So yeah,
Wow.
we need to get you one of those so that you can try one of ours out because we've got a huge selection of stuff. We actually still have stuff from Christmas that we're probably going to clearance out so that we can get it off the shelves. Uh,
Nice.
but yeah, so we do wax products too.
Awesome. Are the wood wicks still available in candles? Brad asks.
Yeah, we still have Secret Santa and we still have Christmas embers. I have a ton of wood wicks that I want. So I really like the wood wicks that we have. Once I fixed the ones we originally got, I wasn't a huge fan of. Some of them were kind of guilty of not burning a full wax pool. But now I've got better ones, and so the plan is to start offering more variety in the woodwicks. The woodwicks were kind of a whole new venture when we released them, but they're really nice. The ones we have just crackle and pop really, really well. Um, so the plan is to have a few more available in the woodwicks. So maybe when we do the summer stuff, actually, I'll probably be doing a full run of Star Spangled again. That would actually be a really good one for wax products because that Red Bull with the mulberry and the lemonade just
Oh wow.
I don't know if you've seen that one,
Uh-uh.
but
Wow.
that's probably my like
That's
most
cool.
outlandish. I did it's Red Bull and then I did mulberries because we have mulberry trees here in Iowa.
Wow.
So it's
That's
a red,
interesting.
yeah. So it's Red Bull, mulberries, and pink lemonade with a little bit of cotton candy in there just for fun. It's supposed
Wow.
to be like reminiscent of like if you were to go to like a summer, uh, like county
Southern.
fair kind of
Yeah.
thing,
Yep.
where it's like you're just you're having a good time. You have all those different smells in there, and then I used a little bit of Aqua de Jo cologne in there to freshen it up a little bit. So, yeah, it's fun. It's a really fun one. That was one of the first scents we ever came out with. I think that was our first. That was our first seasonal scent. High Roller was our first limited, and then I think right after that was Star Spangled. So I'm probably gonna bring that one back for the summertime. It's on the web. We have a few oils on the site right now, but I'll probably do a full restock on it just because that one does really really well too. So
Nice.
I'll probably do some wax melts in that because that Red Bull. If you like the smell of Red Bull, that
Yeah.
one's really fun, and
That's
I
cool.
love it. I think it's a great smell.
Right.
And so it makes a fun one.
Yeah. That sounds pretty interesting. I have seen a whole lot of people, if anybody, do that.
Only
Really off
other
the top
one
of my
I've
head.
seen Red Bull was Passport Grooming. That's the only time
What?
I.
I
That's the
never
only
even heard of
reason.
them.
That was another Iowa-based company, and
Uh,
they were one of my favorites. But the owner Chris, um, you know, he announced one day, just kind of out of the blue, that he just was going to focus more on time with family, and he just closed up shop. And it happened like in like a 2 week span. It was like he announced it, and then they were gone.
that's
So
crazy.
yeah, I
That
mean,
kind of reminds me of
good for
kind of
him,
reminds
but
kind of reminds me of Divine Beard Co. They just
I've heard
closed
of them.
shop.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I never got the chance to use them though.
Did you ever hear of EDC Beard Co?
Yes,
Lee?
I do know. Yeah,
Lee?
I do know of Lee. Yep.
Lee's an awesome guy. I've worked with him for a long time. But yeah, he shut his doors because of his wife. But he's making seasonal sense now.
Yep.
So
Yep. I keep seeing him kind of creep back in with some of his limited stuff,
yep.
which is great. Because I know a lot of people love a lot. I haven't used it. I know of him just because of being in beer groups with him, and then obviously people talking about him. I have not tried it yet, but yeah, it's always bittersweet because it's like obviously as an owner, it's like okay, you have competition, but
Yeah.
you also don't want to see anybody stop doing what they love. There's always going to be that like I care more about the person, than
Right.
anything. And so, and recently I've seen quite a few shops close. I've seen more pop up. But yeah, it's like I would never, anytime I see somebody do that, it's like, gosh, I just can't imagine, what they're going through writing that, because that would
Yeah.
break my heart. I would hate to ever see a day where I have to type, that I'm, for whatever reason, that I'm closing down this profession and this thing. I mean, it's, to me, it's almost like an art form.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't, and so to see him, come back and find a way that he can still balance that a little bit, I'm happy for the guy, because I
Absolutely.
would never want, I would never want to have to, give that up completely.
Yeah.
But
You said that too, competition, there's in business it's competition in business, no matter how you look at it. But
mhm.
one thing that I've noticed in the bearded community, and this isn't like for every single person, so I'm not going to speak on every single company because I haven't seen it. I don't. Truth be told, I don't get on social media. The only social media I get on is YouTube. I make
Okay.
videos because I love videos. I don't see what gets posted. Actually, I take that back. I do tell the guys that do my Facebook, my
Oh
Instagram.
yeah.
Do you know Bearded Death?
Yes, I know
So
of them.
Dan runs my Instagram, and BJ runs my Facebook.
Okay.
And so it's interesting, but I'll send them stuff that I need posted, and they do it. But I don't go off, and I've got off social media for personal things in the past that it's just sometimes you see stuff and just kind of stuff that you don't want to really see. And I'm not saying like trash. I'm talking about stuff that
Oh yeah, it's
you
a
know
double-edged sword. I
yeah.
mean, it has
So
benefits, but it also
mentally, I'm
has.
better off not looking. But then I lose a lot of knowledge of what's going on. But then again, the cool thing is that my friends and people out there, followers, whatever you want to call them, I do have friends, and then I have followers. Sometimes I don't know who the followers are, but they always make a point to let me know the news that I need to hear.
Yeah.
The news that I need to hear, I will always know that I will hear from somebody what's going on. But I said that to say, geez, man, where was I going with this?
With the competition.
Oh yeah, what I've noticed is, I've heard that there's companies, or at least, I don't know the truths of in and out of this stuff. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like getting in the middle of it, because I don't want to be a part of the drama. If
Yeah.
you're in the drama, you're in the drama. And if you're
Mhm.
out of it, you don't have to think about it. But I've heard
Absolutely.
that there are some companies that are kind of like dog eat dog world. They don't want to have, they want their stuff to be set apart from everybody else's. But for the most part, from what I've seen, most companies in the bearded community actually support each other. And it's
Yep.
like, it's not so much like, oh, I'm competing with you on who has the best beard oil. I think it's more of like, what can I offer? It's kind of like fragrances. It'd be stupid to say that there should only be one fragrance company out there, because everybody has different fragrances, and
Yeah.
beard companies have
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
beard
Oh,
products.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Like you were saying, the stuff that you target is beneficial, like skin, eczema. I think of my friend Jacob Bain, at Bain Blends. He's got a lot of interesting things that he does with the herbal infusions and stuff that nobody else seems to be doing, other than, I mean, obviously you doing infusion. And then Gokon
Yeah.
over there at Raven, he does that coffee one. But real interesting to be innovative. I can't talk. It's getting late, but
Yeah. I
innovative.
hear
I
you.
like the innovation that people, they want to try to be different. And
Mhm.
I think simple is effective. But I like the idea of having innovation, because, kind of going back with what you said with, who was it? You'd mentioned, uh, you'd mentioned earlier you didn't like somebody's marketing. Oh, beard
Oh,
brand.
beer brand. Yeah, beer brand.
It makes me think, because me, like, okay, so I just released BHT grooming last week on
Mhm.
my live stream last week. Am I trying to compete with other beer companies? No, I'm not even saying my stuff's better than other people's, but it's different because I'm not just targeting beard care. I'm targeting head shaving stuff.
Right.
What other companies really target head shaving? And so I want to make a joke earlier and say, you know, um, I'm trying to come up with an oil that actually helps you grow your head hair, but I haven't discovered that yet. It probably never will work. I know it won't because, when you got the DHT working against you and stuff. But I said that to say, there's a company out there being a head shaver that does a lot of head shaving stuff. And you've heard of it. Most people have heard of it, and it's Manscaped,
Oh yeah.
and
Yep.
they have a mat. I look at it like this. They seem, in my personal opinion, as a professional head shaver that can speak from a professional standpoint, because that's all I ever do. It seems to be. It's almost like they're a marketing company trying to make a trimmer, instead of a trimmer
Yeah.
company trying to market, because they have a fantastic marketing deal. And that's the thing, you can be a marketer trying to make a product, or an actual small batch company that's doing well with what you do. And maybe you're not the best marketer, but that's why you have influencers out there that, you know what I mean, that help you get and going back to what you said earlier, it's all about word of mouth too. I mean, you can spend thousands of dollars on marketing, or you can just let your product speak for itself,
Yep.
and people will tell people if something's right, works well, and they trust you, they're going to share with other people.
Yeah,
So
I just saw a brand recently that just popped up, and actually somebody tagged me because this is the nasty side of being a business owner now, I guess, in the just we'll just call it men's grooming industry, not just beard products, but I was one of those people where when I bought something, I was going to give you the whole truth on anything that I tried.
Mhm.
Whether it pissed somebody off or not, like
Right,
I wasn't gonna be rude,
right.
but if something didn't work, I was gonna be vocal about it.
Mhm.
Um, and that's one of the unfortunate parts of when you do go from a consumer to an owner, but you're still a consumer and you still
Right.
care about what other people are doing. And I saw this brand pop up and somebody tagged me in it because they know deep down, like, I'm still going to speak on things that I have an issue with. Even as an
Right.
owner, it's like, you know what? If you don't want to buy from me anymore because I spoke the truth on something that I felt needed to be uh, exposed or touched on, then that's just a risk I'm gonna have to take. But I'm calculated about it. I try not to do that often, but somebody had tagged me in one, and this guy, the marketing event immediately was so off putting. It was a scientifically backed beard oil made by a chemist, and talking it was you could tell that the thing was created by AI. Um, and then at the end of the video it cuts to the guy who started the company and he's clean shaven, and I'm thinking, okay, you're starting a beard company or a beard oil company
Yeah.
talking about beard oil and how beneficial it is to bearded men,
How it keeps you from growing facial hair.
and then the first thing I see of the owner is he's a nice clean shaven clearly businessman.
Yeah.
And so it's just I see stuff like that, and I commented.
This is what you seen.
Yeah, and so I commented on it and I said, I think these companies that claim that their things are made by these chemists, I feel like you need to start introducing who these chemists are,
Right.
because it's disingenuous to those of us who it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not a chemist. I love chemistry, but I didn't hire somebody to make my blend, but I can tell you that my blend will probably keep up with yours or outperform yours without a chemist doing it. And so I see
Mhm.
marketing tactics like that, and I see things like Beard Brand, who And actually, Alex touched on this in his group. He's another one where if he sees something wrong, he's not afraid to say it, and
Sure.
that's something I respect very much about it. We've been able to have really good talks about stuff like that. But he had touched on Beard Brand. Their specific ad was they posted a picture of their stuff and they list all of the good things, and the good things are more along the lines of we have this many reviews and we have this many purchases and we use uh unique scent blends that aren't boring, and then they post a picture of just this plain brown bottle which a lot of small batch people use, and it's all about, oh, these guys only have 300 reviews, they use boring scents, and what something else, something, it's just disrespectful, I guess.
Mhm.
And and I commented on that one. I was like, you guys all started at the same exact place. You were that
Wow.
amber bottle
Yep.
at one point with less
Yep.
than 300 reviews. And I'm sorry,
Hmm.
but anybody who has 300 reviews isn't a slouch. In
No.
today's world, if you've gotten 300 people to comment publicly about your product, I think you've earned some
Oh yeah.
respect in the game.
I agree.
Um,
I agree.
and so and then I've seen other ones who come out immediately with this 4K ultra premium sound, marketing tactics. And you go to their website or you go to their Facebook page, it's like, good grief, with what I just saw, I was expecting like 20,000 followers and like tons of engagement, and you see
Yeah.
they've got like 50 followers and like one like on their video. And so
Right.
it's just proof, like you were saying, that yeah, you can do all of the right things marketing wise, but people are going to sniff it out pretty quick
Oh yeah.
and know that, okay, you guys aren't in this for what you say you are. It's pretty obvious,
Yep. Hmm.
especially if you're especially if you're familiar with companies like ours, in the small batch world, where it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
my goodness, my stuff is about as bare bones as you get, but that's what I was going for. My
It's effective.
it's, I mean, old time feel with a modern touch was our mission statement for a reason. Um, we wanted it to be something where somebody buys it, you hear about it, and then if you want to get it yourself, you come and buy it. It was
Yeah.
never to be flashy. I think Dr. Squatch has fallen a prey to the same thing. They went from being this really good men's soap company to now they're a marketing team trying to
Oh
promote subpar soap
yeah.
because they've
Yep.
just lost their way. The moment the
Crazy.
owner stepped away, we've seen this huge decline in quality,
Hmm.
and now Squatch is kind of becoming the butt of the joke because
Yep.
it's like it's literally just all marketing now. It's just all
Yep.
hype and marketing, and you just hope that shock value will, you hope that Sydney Sweeney's bathwater will carry you to the finish line now, as
Yeah.
opposed to just, how about you just sell us a good bar of soap?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel, it shouldn't be that complicated, I guess. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, that's the vein we're trying to tap into. I think a lot of us are. And I saw a comment from an owner recently who said, well, we're all trying to pull from the same pool of customers. And that's not true at all. Yes, we are all competing with the same customers, but people need to realize there are bearded men outside of Facebook groups. There's
Hmm.
bearded men outside of Instagram groups or
That
pages.
are uneducated too.
Yes,
Have
I mean,
no idea what beer care is all about.
I had a guy come to my house who just was asking for directions to a to a bridge. He had a nice beard, and I said, "Hey man, do you use beard oil?" And he said, "Oh, I've used Viking Beard Co. A couple times. That's it." I went and gave him a bottle, told him about beard oil, talked to him for a good 20 minutes about, I mean, there's so many guys out there who are not on social media that you have to be
Yeah.
able to tap into. And so that's just that mentality of like, well, we can only get so many fish from the pond because we're all pulling from the same pool. That's just simply untrue. There's millions of bearded men out there who have never heard of it or they've never heard of you, and you just have to get your product in their hands. Because if I tell my wife all the time, we kind of live by the motto of, if we can get it in their hands, they're probably going to buy it. I mean, we're that confident in our stuff. I mean, we know that if we can get that smell and we can get them to try it, they're probably going to come back for more.
Yeah.
And so that's just, you have to be willing to go to those extremes or go to those lengths to find those people, because those are going to be the people who go, you have no idea what I just found. Because it's all new to them. It's this like big deal. Whereas a lot of the, your typical bearded man, like, yeah, they're pretty seasoned. They've used beard products before. They're probably not going to be as prone to go, get excited about something that they just tried, which is why I appreciate, the Brads and the Robert and Terry's, because it's like the fact that you guys still go out of your way to help people like us get exposure is really cool.
Yep.
And so I remember the first time I interacted with Robert and Terry. They were in the middle of like a hurricane or something in Texas, and he had posted a picture. He was using the Gentleman oil that day, and it stuck with me. It was like, even in the middle of this horrible storm that was potentially going to damage their house, he took the time to post about what, beard product he was using that day.
So, I was going to say, kind of going back to what you said earlier, whoever had made that comment about we're all pulling from the same pool. I mean, if that's the mentality you're looking at it, maybe you can think that, but I almost feel like somebody that would say that is basically saying, well, I'm going to make my website. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to share with people to share in their communities on YouTube. And I'm just going to sit back and get the customers that are already buying from. But that's kind of a lazy way of looking at it. Because if you really want to be a good, and Chris will tell you this over there at True North Beard Co. He's one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. I mean, this dude's all over social media. He actually told me he would run my Instagram. Brad even told me he'd start up an Instagram for me at one time. Tons of people have asked me, hey, I'll start because they know that it's some, hey, Frankie, thanks for stopping by, brother. Appreciate you. Hopefully you got your product. Let me know. Shoot me an email or text me or something. See, I used to be a salesperson in another life. That's what I did. I sold tools.
I did cable and cell phones.
So you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You have to go out there and you have to just, and I'm a people person, and I'm sure you are too.
Yeah. And if you're a people person, almost.
Yeah. If you're a people person, it's natural. Like, for instance, when you said that about the guy looking for the bridge, I thought of today. I get stuff all the time. Obviously, you can only imagine, shipped to my house all the time. I mean, almost every day I get packages, and a lot of it's I'm buying, a lot of it's people sending me stuff. So guy comes in or gets off UPS. I see the truck coming down the street, and I asked my son, I said, is this for us? And because my neighbor he gets a lot of stuff too. And sure enough, he pulls up and he honks the horn. I go, oh, okay. Yeah. Cause I was waiting on some products and stuff to show up. And so I run inside real quick. I come back outside, and my son's carrying a couple big, like, heavy boxes, and he's bringing them up to the door to me, and I get it. And so the guy goes back in his truck, and he's got a big box, and I make a joke and I go, is that ours too? And he goes, no, this is your neighbor's. And so, but he had a beard. And he had a sleeve of tattoo, and I said, hey, I got a question for you. And he goes, yeah, what's up? And I go, are you into beard care stuff? And he goes, yeah, I take care of my beard. And I said, you use beard products and stuff? And he goes, yeah. And I go, well, I wanted to say, I started a company, BHT Grooming, Beards, Heads, and Threads. And I said, I sell beard care stuff, head shaving stuff, and stuff like that. And I said, I don't have my website on my cards, but I have my email, my phone number. I said, check it out. It's bhtgrooming.com. Check it out. And he took it, and he's like, I'm going to check it out. I thought simple things like that I didn't have to go out of my way. He was there. I seen he had a beard, and I just asked a question. And a lot of times people miss sales because they just don't ask the simple questions,
Yeah.
and it's a
Yeah,
simple question,
that human interaction is, my goodness, to me, I mean, that's the most pivotal part of survival, when it comes to, because when the moment whether you think you're a salesman or not, the moment you take on a venture like this, you're a salesman, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And your ability to, I go back to Tommy Boy, you have to be able to sell a woman in white gloves a ketchup popsicle.
Yeah.
That's your goal. Like, you have
Yeah.
to be able to have that
Suave.
killer mentality, or like, well, was it called, the boiler room, with what's, he
The
says,
guy from
coffees for closers.
yeah,
It's
guy
like
from
the,
Gone in 60 Seconds. I forget his name.
yeah, the guy goes to get coffee, but he didn't close his sale, and so the boss tells him he's not allowed to drink coffee that day because he didn't
Yeah.
close the sale. Coffee's for closers.
Yeah.
And so, like, sales just happens to be in my blood because my dad was a salesman his entire life. He's been selling
Right.
hydraulic parts for farming equipment, John Deere, Cat, like, just all these major companies. He sells hydraulics to them for their
Mm-hmm.
machines. And so my brother sold shoes, he sold phones, I sold cable, literally direct. I walked door to door in rain, sleet, or snow selling cable for a year.
Right.
And then I sold phones. Um, for Best Buy Mobile for a while. So yeah, that's just kind of something that came naturally to us. And not like that sleazy carsman sale. Like, truly, like, we love to. It's almost like a sport in a way, where it's like it's a challenge, it's a game. Like, you want to sell something to someone so bad that you're trying to one up yourself. The problem is I was selling stuff I didn't care about, and that's where starting my own business was so key, because it's like, if I'm going to sell you something, I want to feel good about it. I want to know
Passionate.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, I want to know that what I'm actually selling you means something,
You
and
can
that
get behind it. Yeah.
it's not just, oh, I checked a box, I got that sale, I got my commission,
Yep.
and now I can go home. um that was difficult for me because there was no passion behind it. And so, like, what we learned very quickly in our first business was everything was about affiliates, everything was about affiliate codes, everything was about having people out there with codes doing all that for you. And we, very early on with our first business, just made the decision that we're not going to get into all that. It's like, first of all, I don't know you from Adam. I don't want you associated with the name of my way of living
Right.
at all. I don't want you representing me if I don't know you,
Sure.
super well. Because if you go do something stupid, that falls on me, and I'm not going to bet my business on you just because, you say, "Oh, what, I really like your stuff." Like, I'm sure you do. So keep buying it, and let's build a relationship here.
Right.
And so that's what it's all about for me. But I do see some companies where it's just like, I never see the owner. I just see these guys with affiliate codes,
Right.
and it works. Obviously, we've seen that is a successful business model for a lot of people. But I think when you get into a more niche industry, I guess, you have to be careful kind of towing that line, because if you don't ever have that interaction as the owner, it's like, gosh, you're a small business. Like, if you can't make time for me at, this stage, you're not going to make time for me, in the future. I
Yeah.
mean, I want to know who I'm supporting. I want to know who I'm buying from. Um, and so, yeah, so that, just for me, just as a consumer, those are big things to me. And companies that, where if I'm not directly, connecting with somebody who has, like, some sort of uh role in owning the company, it's a put off almost immediately, because it just tells me that you guys are too big, to care about, I guess, your customers. And so that is something that I kind of just look for. And maybe that's not the case, but that's the impression you get.
Right.
Um, yeah, exactly. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Exactly. That actually puts it really well. Um, it just, to me, it goes back to almost like the golden rule, where it's like, it's not hard to be kind, just be kind to people, don't
Yeah.
be an a-hole. And especially with the social media world, I think we all can get caught up in just, people have been dehumanized. We've got
Hmm.
AI running rampant now, trying to run our groups, and
Yeah.
to me, it's so important that we keep that human element. Old school salesman mentality is just, it's in my blood. It's what I'm passionate about, and on top of it, I love what I do. And so it's just, even though I'm not the best marketer, I'm great with people, and I will die on that hill. I'm great with people, and so that's why I'm able to do what I do. Yeah, I can't make a fancy ad, I can't make a fancy video. If I really wanted to, I could let my ADD run rampant and learn how to do it. But right now, it's just not important to me. I would rather have conversations like this. I'd rather just, I a lot of what I do is I'm answering questions on my groups and my messages, and having conversations like this, and just trying to share knowledge, and in hopes that it's like, I do hope you buy for me, but at the end of the day, what I care about is you getting what's right for you. And so there have been some times where somebody just said, I loved the smell, it didn't work for my beard, sorry. And I immediately go, okay, then I encourage you to go check out these places, because these are places that I trust. These are
Right.
places that I trust my own personal care with. So if you're, if my stuff doesn't work, please go try these things, because the last thing I want you to do is go get caught up in, something that makes you think you're using what's best for you because it's flashy, but it's really not. It's really
Right.
not actually good for you. So yeah, unfortunately, that just, I see companies too who will directly attack a company like Dr. Squatch. And it's like, even though, yeah, it's easy to do that, it's easy to poke that bear. It's like, okay, why are we attacking other companies that are also fighting the same fight as we are? Why are we attacking somebody who's going after this industry that has essentially been selling us poison? Why
Yeah.
are we not attacking them? Why are we not
Hmm.
going after those companies?
Yeah.
Now it's, you
Oh
have to
yeah.
get the people who went before you. It's like, well, I need to get Dr. Squatch in my ad somehow, so we're just going to make fun of them. And it's like, yeah, it's easy
So
to make fun
true.
of. It's easy
It's
to make fun of them,
You're so
but
true on that.
that, and so I commented on that with another guy. I His ad popped up, and it was something about like Squatch ain't squat, and I was like, dude, I was like, I get why, like, I get the mentality, but I was like, if your product is good, just sell me your product. Don't tell me why it's better than Dr. Squatch, because
Let it speak for itself.
yeah, don't tell me all the reasons why I shouldn't buy Dr. Squatch. Tell me why I should buy yours, because the first thing
Yeah.
I notice here is you just need Dr. Squatch's name for shock value.
That's so true.
You need this hook, and I'm telling you, all that did was turn me away, because
Right.
you're obviously not confident. And he was willing to admit, he said, it honestly, I will admit, this was a marketing tactic. And so he at least was
Honest
genuine
about it.
and
Yeah.
honest about it. And I told him, I give you respect for at least, you know
Owning
admitting
it.
to it.
Yeah.
um, but he did agree. He said, I do agree with you, we should be, continuing to focus on what the fight's really about, and that's against these companies that's selling us toxic chemicals and poison. um, and so yeah, so it just, there's so many things wrong with different marketing tactics, I guess, is the point. And it's sometimes very disappointing. I see some companies who, like, it's trendy now to just be an asshole to your followers. Like, as an owner, it's like, there's some people who, now it's like, if anybody disagrees with your product, it's cool to just like publicly shame them. And it's like, I don't get it. I guess I don't relate to it
Right.
whatsoever. Um
It's
But
so true though, because there's a, you know,
hey, Greg.
one of the first things that comes to my mind when somebody wants to bash another company and try to act like they're superior and better than that company, it says something about them when they have to bash other people to get above the noise.
Yep.
Like if your product is that good, it should speak for itself. You don't have to speak for your products. The products will speak for itself. But when you got to, it's kind of like those people that, and I've known people in my life like this, they'll talk about so many people and bash people all the time because it makes them feel better about themselves. You know,
Yeah.
those people out there that
Oh,
all they
absolutely.
do is want to talk about people because it makes them feel better about themselves instead of lifting people up and encouraging and just being that person. It's sad. And it's again, going back to the whole, if they're doing that, their whole mindset obviously is not to um, be a leader in the industry. It's more of, I just want to
You're
maybe,
meeting the status quo.
yeah, you're just trying to grab people's attention. And that's the only reason. And people see right through that. I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
people don't
People aren't
understand
dumb.
that.
I think
Yeah.
that's the other insulting thing too is it's like, yeah, you're gonna get a few people who fall for it, but the fact that you see so little in people that you think you're gonna be able to
Right.
pull that on them, I think is the other part that's equally frustrating. Um, and yeah, yeah, with some of these examples I've given off, like it's like you really value people that little that for one you're lying to them, you're even lying. So like one company I saw recently was talking about, oh, we don't use seed oils and we never will because we don't want to sell you crap. And it's like, really, that's where we're at now. Now we're down to the point where seed oils are bad for you because you use tallow. You're supreme, when in all reality tallow has its issues too. Everything has its issues depending
Hmm.
on the person. um but yeah, that's another one that bothered me is it's like, so now instead of we're fighting cancer, carcinogens, and we're fighting phthalates and we're fighting sulfates and parabens, now we're fighting seed oils, something that's been used for thousands of years,
Right.
made by God, put on this earth for man to use. Now that's the issue. And that's the kind of crap that
Hmm.
I call it out for what it is. It's like, you can't
Yeah.
sit here and tell me that metafoam seed oil is bad for you. You can't
Right.
tell me that olive oil is bad for you. Olive oil is one of the greatest things we can put
Right.
into our body and put
Hmm.
onto our skin. And it just, they just do these. And if you talk to this guy who says this, he just disrespects you. I mean, he just basically is like, well, if you can't afford it, then just say that. It's like, this has nothing to do, this has nothing to do with affording your
Yeah.
tallow body wash,
Yeah.
buddy. This is, your approach is all wrong. That's the
Yeah.
issue. And your fight is against all the wrong people. What you're telling me is there's people outperforming you in your line of work, and now the only thing you have to add to the table is insulting them. And I guess it's like, if I ever get to the point where I'm doing that to the people, like to other people, just please cancel me, because that's just, it's unnecessary. And if everybody, it's like, if we're all really about helping people get away from these bad products, none of us would be bashing each other, I guess.
Hmm.
You either have a character flaw or you have a product flaw. That's really
Yeah.
the only reason that should ever come into conversation.
It's true.
Otherwise, we should all be helping each other.
It's
Um,
true. So true.
so yeah, that's it. I get fired up on that one. That I just I see too much of that squirreliness, and I don't like it. There's a
Right.
few companies that I absolutely respect that I can just say with full confidence that it's like, you guys have integrity. It shows with everything you post, with everything you do. You're transparent. You show us what you're doing. You tell us why you're doing it, and you believe in your product, and you've never wavered on it. Like, those are the kind of people that I'm looking for,
Oh
and
yeah.
those are the people doing well. Those are the people that I continue to see stand out from the rest, even if it doesn't equate to like good analytics per se. Those are the people that are clearly making ripples
Right.
in this.
Influence. Yeah.
Yep.
You're
That's
influencing
who.
people in the right way.
Yep, because now you're seeing other companies start to pull ideas and they're being inspired by what those people are doing. Okay,
Yep.
now you're starting to see
So
the,
true.
yeah, you start to weed out the real ones, I guess.
Hmm.
Because I think people have just gotten so caught up in it's followers and, you name it, analytics, algorithm, all that stuff.
Right.
That's what people equate success to now. And it's
Yep.
unfortunate because some
Likes and.
people,
Hmm.
yeah, because some people just like this. I'll shout out 1680 Soap, who's from Hawaii. Those guys are incredible people. They will never use anything that's not naturally sourced from Hawaii to make their soaps. They spend extra money that cuts into their already razor thin margins just to keep their integrity intact because they believe in what they're doing.
Wow.
Those are the kind of people who, I mean, they influence us. It's made
Right.
us want to do better at making our soap.
Hmm.
So I have nothing but admiration and respect for people like that because it's like you guys are doing it right. You are not wavering, you are not compromising, and you are truly trying to put out the best possible product for people despite the fact that it's cutting into your margins. You're not
Right.
doing anything to cut cost. And
That
so
says a
I just
lot.
have, yeah, and so I have huge, and in Hawaii, it's tough out there, man. That
Oh
is a
yeah.
tough place to be.
It's
And so
expensive.
for, yeah, and they don't give their people a break hardly at all. And so for them to be still doing that, despite all these import taxes and all these export taxes
Hmm.
and inflation and then high taxes on top of it, they're still trying to put out a product that competes with things that are being sold here on in the
That's
mainland.
crazy. It's
So
crazy.
yeah, those are the kind of people that it's like that's who you need to go running towards.
Oh yeah.
Because right now I can tell you they make a better soap bar than me. I can confidently say that, and I'm trying to strive to make something that is equally as good as theirs.
Hmm.
Not something that's going to rip them off, but something that I can say, you know what, if you like 1680, you're going to love ours
Yeah.
because they make a hell of a soap. And they have just got it perfected. They make beautiful, elegant, I mean, call it simple, but at the end of the day, it's not. Like the idea of it is simple, but what they're doing using raw ingredients is actually very, very old world. um and so yeah, I love people like that. The bar soaps, Brad, I'm planning on doing the first rollout of bar soaps probably in about two weeks. I'm hoping early July with the next drop I'll have some bar soaps available for that next drop. And then probably by end of summer we should always have, we're kind of getting to the point where we're getting momentum of we'll probably always have some soaps in stock. um the tea infusions and the pine tar will probably be ones that we keep pretty regularly in stock. We'll just kind of always be making those. And then my hope, I ordered tallow a week ago and it still hasn't shipped. I really want to get working on my tallow bar. Not because it's a fad, it just happens to be making I'm making a tallow bar that's for the eczema with the Karanja
Oh
oil.
nice.
um, so I'm waiting on that. So yeah, those will kind of be the mainstays. We'll have a few other ones. But yeah, then we'll have our barbershop bar and a couple others. So hopefully, yeah, we just got our I actually got our test stickers in today to make sure that we liked them, and then we do like them, so we're gonna order a big batch of the stickers that go on the front of the boxes. So
Nice.
yes, sir.
Gotta love the ship. Gotta love the freight these days. The
Mm,
transit. USPS.
yeah. Yeah, I've kind of just it's like I've kind of just learned it is what it is, but there are when it comes to stuff like this where it's like, all right, this actually is holding me up. It does get frustrating. For the
Oh
most
yeah,
part,
for
it's like
sure.
if it's just a recreational purchase, I just try to forget about it. But when it comes to affecting your way of
Livelihood.
yeah,
Yeah.
that starts to get a little frustrating, especially when it's like I ordered one tub of tallow. Like,
Right.
why this shouldn't take that long? It's not like I ordered this pallet of stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Takes a couple of weeks to
it's
get.
a
Yeah.
gallon of tallow. just let's just get it. Let's get it shipped.
Yeah. For sure. So Ray says, I think that the we don't use seed oils companies out there. He believes uses seed oils if you check the ingredients carefully.
Probably. He
Yeah,
probably,
probably
yeah.
so.
Yeah, some of these guys, they just hear a catchy phrase and that's what they throw it in there, and they don't actually know what they're saying,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Because yeah, I get there's some I get there with anything, like there's gonna be certain things that, yeah, you have to be careful with. But again, that goes with anything. I mean,
Yep.
that's just that's life. Anything you use, there's always going to be a risk, whether it's minimal or not. I'm actually completely different note. I'm really excited because I just found out you can get coffee seed oil, and they extract it from freshly roasted coffee beans, and so it smells just like coffee, but
Hmm.
it's a seed oil. So I ordered a little 4 ounce bottle of that today because I want to play around with it. I make a coffee bar that I've struggled to find a way to get it to be scented with coffee naturally. Um,
Is it like the one you sent me a picture of? It had the seeds on it, like
mhm.
almost like the. I think that I want to say that 1680 has a soap that kind of reminded me of as well. That's kind of like gray brownish, if you will, with the
Yep.
seeds on it, like almost like poppy seeds or something. But I know they're not. They're
I have one that has
is it pulp?
apricot seeds in it. I have one that has tea leaves in it. I have another one that has coffee grounds in it. And the coffee bar, it performs great. It looks great. It looks like it's aesthetically pleasing, but unfortunately, lye kills so many things
Hmm.
when it saponifies your oil, and coffee is one of those things where you could do a freshly brewed cup of coffee, put it into your soap, and the moment the lye hits your oils, the scent's just gone, it's
That's
neutralized.
crazy.
But from what I've read with coffee seed oil, because it mixes in with the saponification, it actually retains its smell.
Hmm.
And so I'm really excited to play around with that, because if you use it as a water content, it just basically evaporates. If you
Hmm.
use it as an oil, it supposedly holds its smell.
Hmm.
Um, and you still get all the benefits of the coffee, the caffeine, and whatnot. Uh,
Hmm.
so I'm excited for that. Hoping I can finalize that bar, because coffee is something that I love the smell of it. I do drink cold brew. I'm not like a huge coffee person, but I love this. We always have a coffee candle in our house,
Hmm.
um, because we just think that's like the smell of home. Like home just smells
Sure.
like coffee.
Right. Sure.
But
Very
yeah, so
cool.
lots of stuff rolling out. I I don't know. Do you need to get going here?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably be getting off here in a second.
Yeah, I'm in
I don't know.
my
Somebody in the door. I don't know who it was. It's probably my
yeah.
wife.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
getting
not
to that
sure.
time too. We've got our
Gotta
one
get it.
year old is
Oh
still fighting
yeah,
her sleep, so I
yeah.
probably need to go
Your
help
wife's
with
gonna be
her. But
like, "Where are you at right now?" I know
oh,
all
she
about
knows.
that.
She knows because I'm in one of the I'm actually in our daughter's room right now.
Uh-oh. See, my wife's always like, "My gosh, that live stream was a long time. That was 2 hours." And I'm thinking, well, tonight it's been like we're going on like
2.5.
almost 3 hours. But she don't have to work tomorrow or anything, and I don't have to be up early or anything. Actually, I think we are going to get up early tomorrow and do some stuff. But yeah, let's see here. We got Greg says if you haven't tried it yet, freeze the coffee before you put the lye in. It helps a little with the scent.
All right, I'll have to try it. Yeah, Greg makes soap too. He actually has given me some pretty good advice a couple times on soap.
Oh, nice. Does
Um,
he have a company too, or is it just he's just
Yeah,
hobby?
his is well, he did. I think he just launched it as an LLC. I think it's correct me if I'm wrong, Greg. I think it's Sunshine State Grooming, I
Oh,
believe.
nice.
I'm trying to I know a lot of guys kind of popped up here recently, and he was one of the first that I remember recently. He actually sent me some of his stuff to try. But that was, I think, well before he had much like branding going on. He just wanted my opinion on some of his oil blends. Um, but yeah,
Very cool.
he's a great dude. He was one of the ones who helped get me introduced with the bearded respect. He was one of my first people again to try my stuff. So
Killer
uh,
mustache.
yeah, he's got a great beard, great mustache, just an all around good guy. Yeah, him, Brad, Robert, Terry, like those are three of just the OGs that I just have a lot of respect for. So
Black
thank you.
seed oil. Just kidding.
Ooh,
Mango seed. I'm looking at his profile right now on his ingredients. We've got meadow foam seed oil.
mm-hmm.
A lot of seeds, guys. A lot of
Yep.
seeds being planted tonight. No, seriously, Greg. Shout out to you, man. Pretty cool, man. I know it's going to sound bad, but I've never. This is going to sound terrible with me saying this, being the beards, heads, and threads, but I've never heard of you. I mean, I've seen your name, but I've never heard your company. And I'm glad I have, because you look like you got some good stuff over there. Hemingway and all that stuff. I'm taking it. This is your website. I see the Blind Beardster when I went to Google that, and I figure maybe he's done a review on your stuff before.
Yeah, I want to say Sunshine. Did he say?
Sunshine State Grooming, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's.
I hope
I'm
that's
looking.
right. Well, it's got to be. He's got soap on here and deodorant. Well, there's no products found right now, but there is. It's there, like he's going to be putting the stuff there. I know how it is when you start out a company, you're making a website. I get that. It's a slow process of putting things together and learning the whole Shopify
Uh,
website.
Brad just asked if I've got any discount codes tonight. I don't,
Oh,
but I
I do have
can't.
a banner to put here.
So
Uh,
they've probably used the first time 10. But I
I should have
can.
this one earlier. Sorry.
Oh, I honestly did. I will make a code. Um, I'll just do something that'll run through. I don't know, the next couple days, since I really didn't think about it. It wasn't super. Like I said, it's life has been crazy. I wasn't. I'm just glad I was finally able to even do this. But I'll do a little code. I'm gonna be doing a Father's Day sale, so I'm not gonna do anything super crazy. But I'll do like a 15% off for the guys who were in the stream. I'll just do BHT 15 for the next couple days for the guys who have been in here. Um, and if anybody wants to use that, I'll as soon as I get off here, I'll just create that. So if anybody's in here and uh, yeah, BHT 15, I'll keep it simple. And if anybody wants to take advantage of that over the next couple days, they can. Otherwise, we're just gonna do we are doing a Father's Day sale. Starting Friday, we're just going to do 20% off site wide. We're going to keep that pretty simple too.
Nice.
But yeah, should be a great weekend, and congrats to you for launching your own stuff. It's fun. It can get hectic, but it's fun. I think anybody who has the cojones to take it up has. I mean, I think they know what they're getting themselves into. So um, we all have our own reasons to do it, and I think that's what motivates us. So yeah, it only gets crazier from here.
Man, I've been through a lot of crazy stuff and shenanigans and stuff and hard times, but man, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit about me. Like, I've always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I love people and I love beard care. I love men's grooming. I think that, I think that there's so many men out there that are just uneducated. And I've been doing this for a while on this channel. And so it's stuff that I love. I love beard products. I love head shaving stuff. And it's something like somebody had said this earlier. I think it was I think Philip said this earlier. When you love doing what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Now it gets
Exactly.
chaotic. Yeah, I'm sure it will with
It
anything.
Yeah,
chaotic. But
it's a different kind of stress
yeah,
because, and that's what my wife told me for so long, is she watched me, um, toil in these different jobs, and just I struggled with all of them because it's just I was never passionate about what I was doing. And she just always said, you got to find something that you enjoy doing and make money at it.
yeah.
You've got to do that, because she just was watching my soul just get sucked out of me for so long, working for just absolute a-holes who just, you were just a replacement to them. I mean, you were nothing. You were just a
Mhm.
body that worked for them. Um, and so being able to do this, it's like, I talk about how chaotic it gets and how tiring it is, but it's different when there's a fulfilling feeling, driving all of that.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, it gets overwhelming. Absolutely. It's a lot to take on, and it's a lot to, balance, especially when you have a family and you're running like there's all these elements, whatever you have, going on outside of that work. Yeah, it gets chaotic, but I can lay my head down every night knowing I feel good about what I did that day, and I don't dread waking up to do it. I wake up earlier now willingly because I get excited to, get up and start experimenting, or, make a new I'll go to bed and I'm like, "Oh, finally I'm done." And I'm like, "Oh, wait, no, that sounds like a good idea. I should try that in the morning." And
You get to be a creator.
it starts
You
all
get
over again the next day.
to create and be your own boss, which is nice.
Yeah. And so I'm fortunate to be able to do what I do. I'm fortunate to have as many loyal customers that we have. Um, and I truly, it's like, yeah, we created this, we run it, but at the end of the day, if we don't have customers, it does
You don't
nothing.
have a business. Yeah.
No, and
It's
so
the
it,
customers that make it.
to me,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, all credit goes to you guys, because you guys keep us going. You keep this whole like dream of ours,
Yeah.
sustainable.
That's
And so
good.
I appreciate that, and yeah, thanks, Brad. I do. I like I said earlier, I'm a huge fragrance guy. I just am fascinated by the different elements, top, middle,
Base
base.
note.
And so I really try to make my stuff in a way that you would get from like a designer quality. I want you to pick up on, individual things.
Yeah.
I don't want you to ever try something and you're just like, smells
Linear.
good, but I don't. Yeah, just it's like one dimensional, or you don't really
Right.
know quite what you're smelling. Um, and
I
so
think
I
you and I
really,
have a lot in common for sure
yeah,
when it comes to
I
that stuff. For
yeah,
sure.
I picked up on that. Um, so yeah, I'll get that code made, so that way people can utilize that for the next couple days until the sale, and then I know for Dan's reviews I did DBR 10 moving forward. So I'll, for like the permanent one, I'll just do BHT 10 after the Father's Day sale, or even before that. I'll have that one as just like a permanent one for you guys who have helped, push our brand. Um but yeah, I know a lot of people have used the DBR one. He's a great guy, um as well, and has helped get our name to people that he's
Yeah.
big on Instagram, and it's like I'm not huge on Instagram with the Acreage, and so he's tapped into, like, he's allowed our company to tap into people that I would have never even known
Wow.
existed. So that's been nice. So yeah, I'll talk to you more about that, but yeah, I appreciate having me on. Glad
Yeah,
we
man.
finally
If you need
finally.
anything from me, just holler. I mean, you got my number, and if you'll ever text me back, no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No,
I'll give you a hard time. I know
I
you're busy, dude. I
it,
know you're busy, dude.
no, I can't.
I was gonna give you a hard time about that and just mess with you tonight because I know how busy you are. Um, I'm funny because you've been so busy. I don't. What did I say? I don't know if I did this to somebody else or if I did it to you, but I thought I said something like, "Are you still alive?
Yeah, yeah. No,
Hello,
you
are you?"
did. Yeah, and Well, and I said barely.
Because I know that you said you had some problems with your family too, and I didn't know that. And I said, "Are you still alive?" And it was almost like, if I knew you were having health issues, I probably wouldn't have worded it that way. I'd been
Yeah,
like, "Hey, are
so
you really okay?"
yeah. So we had gotten sick. Wife had her appendicitis, and then we got sick again during her recovery of the of after her appendectomy. And then I now have a herniated disc in my lower back. And so it's been, and that's just the things I can think of in the last few weeks. I also have a cousin whose daughter is very sick with tumors right now. That's
Oh,
she's fighting. She's only like 2, 3 years old. I mean, just a
yeah,
little girl. She's fighting just these Wilms tumors that keep coming back, and it's just there's a lot of hits that have been coming, um, and it just got to the point where there were just days where it's like I just didn't pick up my phone for anything outside of
sure.
what I absolutely had to. And like I said, even yesterday, I had that whole message responded to you. I had the whole thing typed out, and I never.
I've done that before.
And I went to text you about because I was like, I need to ask him about the butter before I go on the show because it was eating at me because I was like, I need to know what he means. And so I went to text you about it, and then I saw this message was fully typed out and I had never even sent it.
Oh, dude, no,
Gosh
dude,
dang, man.
it's all good, man.
My brain's
I've
all
done
over
that.
the place.
I've done that before, man. And dude, I got to tell you, I've got a lot of grace. I do. I've got a lot of grace. Some people don't like me. Some people love me. Some people just kind of like me, but I didn't think you didn't like me.
No, and
I just figure you're busy.
that's why I said like this. That's why I worded it the way I did. I said this is not normal
Sure.
behavior because this is very extreme. This is very outside of our normal life. It just you happen to connect with us at one of the most chaotic times
You
in
know what's
recent history.
it's funny that you say that because I don't know what it is about me, but it seems like I have a lot of people that I deal with, like, even like, and a lot of it's on YouTube. It's funny. Like, for instance, funny story, Bain, Bain Blends, Jacob Bain, he sent me some stuff to review. It's funny. He sent me some, and him and I are good friends. We have a lot in common. His wife had breast cancer. My wife had breast cancer.
Mm.
A lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff. We're both Christians, but we have a lot in common. But he sent me some stuff, and I try to do these. I don't know if it's unique. I mean, I don't see a lot of people do these. I see a lot of people do unboxing, but I don't see a lot of people do like live unboxings where it's
Yeah,
like, I'm going to tell you what I first think when I
yeah,
first
like
open
your
it.
first
Yeah.
reaction.
And so I did that with his stuff. I opened it up and I'm smelling them. I'm like, I really don't get nothing out of this one. Well, I mean, it's, and the way his is different because he's got, top notes of this, middle notes, this, bass notes, this. And I'm like, I'm really not getting this note. I'm not really getting any of these notes. And he's like, he comes on there because I text him, I'm about to go live. I'm gonna do a live stream unboxing because I try to do this to companies, at least so they're there when I do it. Again, I'd never bash a company. And I'll tell you a story here in a minute. Also, that something that happened about a month or so ago. But, anyways, I said, okay, I'm trying to read the label here, and I'm like, yeah, this label's kind of hard to read, and I'm just trying to be honest, but I'm not trying to make it look bad.
Yeah.
Because I got to have time to do the review and maybe things change. I know for me, since change, when I first smell something in a bottle, it changes when it opens up in the beard. And, some things grow on me. I mean, I'm sure things have grown
Absolutely.
on you where you get something, you're like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden you're like, man, you know what? This one's really growing on me. So he actually texted me right after that and was like, dude, dang it. I knew I shouldn't have sent that stuff to you because we are right in the middle of changing things. And I knew you were going to catch it. And I wasn't even trying to catch it. But it's funny because like weird stuff like that happens. But I was like, dude, listen, man, I am not like a stickler. I'm going to come back. And he's like, man, I'm just going to tell you, if you see this happen, um, I understand, please, and I'm like, dude, trust me, I'm not even looking at that, man. I mean, like, I think
Mm-hmm.
we have so much like high expectations for ourselves. And even though I do very thorough reviews, um, you know, you got to have grace. You have to have grace in the middle of it all because we're humans. We're going to have times where we shoot for perfection, but there may be some things that something happens. It could be an anomaly. It could be something that's just a one-off deal, And so I said that to say this. There was a company. I'm not going to mention the name, but I did a review. I got the stuff. Super nice company owner. Now I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to say who it was. I'm not going to say anything really to give this away, but they never contacted me ever again after. I actually messaged them and I said, thank you so much for sending me this product. I mean, they gave it to me out of the kindness of their hearts. A lot of people think when you get free stuff, you're just going to get great reviews. And I
Mm.
got some stuff. And when I first took it out of the box, I smelt it and I go, I don't know.
Jeez.
I don't know. I don't know about this one. I'm like, but just don't know. And I'm like, but I was thinking in my mind, well, I'm just going to give it some time and figure it out. So I tried it. And it got so bad for me personally that I had to go back and wash it out of my beard because
That's
I was
rough.
like, dude, I can't go all day with this scent in my beard. But some people love it. And I even said it on the review. I said, okay, here's the deal. There's going to be tons of people that's going to love this. But for me, I couldn't get past the scent. The fill and beard was great, but I couldn't get past the scent.
Mm-hmm.
And not one of these scents they sent me, I liked. Not one
Mm.
of them. Not one of them. And they were almost like in the same vein. They had a certain ingredient in there that was just very pungent to me, to my nose. And and I'm not going to say what it is because people are going to know. And I'm not trying to bash that company, but I will say that I got a lot of flack. A lot of people came back, started saying, "Oh, this must be a paid review," and I'm thinking, I've never heard of somebody being paid to give a bad review. Have you?
Yeah, that a hit piece. Yeah, I haven't heard of that.
And I'm like, I never bashed them. I never said nothing bad, and they're like, "Dude, I don't understand. Every one of the scents, not one of you liked, and those are hot scents." And I'm like, "That's just my nose."
I've had it
Don't
happen.
get
I
it.
mean, I've ordered from some companies where it's like we clearly have very different ideas of what we find good. Um, and that's why scent's subjective. I mean,
Very much so.
there have been I actually okay, so I just got a new cologne. It's Valentino Uomo Coral Fantasy.
Mm,
It's incredible. But mind you, my favorite reviewer of fragrances didn't have a lot of good things to say about it.
hmm
And that threw me because I was like, gosh, this just sounds like everything that I would like in a fragrance.
Right.
Um, it used red apple instead of green apple. I'm not a huge
hmm
green apple guy, but I love the smell of that sweet red juicy
Right.
apple. Um, it reminded me because like I think of like the old like Juicy Couture, like those used like red apple, like and you don't see a lot of it. And then it also had like tobacco. It had tobacco in it, and so I was like, my goodness, like this sounds great. I don't know why this guy doesn't like it. And so it's like, you know what? I do a lot of blind buys. To me, that's half the experience. Is it's like it's kind of like beard oils. You're either gonna, it's like, am I gonna like this or not? Does it live up to what it describes itself as? And I got it and I loved it. I didn't get any of the things that this guy, said about it. It was honestly almost the exact opposite. Most of the things he didn't like about it are the things that I loved. He thought that the apple had this weird, like, stinky sock smell. I don't get that at all. Like, I think
Really?
it's a great. And so that just tells you, it's like people's noses are just so
Different.
different. And like the first time I just tried the new Lamal Elixir, the Absolute.
Mm-hmm.
First time I tried it, like it smells like a cardboard box and sawdust for the first 30 minutes. That's what I smelled the first time I sprayed it. And I was so disappointed because I've loved the Lamal line so
Mm-hmm.
much. There's very few that I didn't really like, and so when they came out with an Absolute, it was like, this is gonna be the
Right.
best iteration of this fragrance.
Mm-hmm.
I came back to it a week later, sprayed it again, let it air out, went to smell it, and I'm like, my gosh, this is a completely different fragrance.
Yeah.
This
Isn't that
isn't
weird
even
how
what
that
I smelled
works?
the first time.
Yeah.
And so it was so odd. And so it is. It's weird how like our olfactory senses work, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is unique to the individual. I have had beard companies that I've tried since where it's just like, sorry, this is not for me. Um, and it's like, I get you like it, but it's not my thing. But no one, it is and that's how I think I kind of became known for what my reviews were when I was doing it in these groups, was because I was willing to speak on things that I wasn't really a fan of. I think people did start to respect the authenticity in them. And
Yeah.
again, it's like, I'm not trying to bash you,
Right.
but
But you have to be
but
honest.
I'm not going to sit here and hype this up like a lot of people do. They blow smoke,
People waste their money.
and then
Yep.
next thing you know, it's like, wait, why are you just told me you love it? Now you're selling it. So was it good or not?
Yep.
Oh no, no, it was great. It just wasn't for me. It's like, okay, so which one is it? I would rather you just tell me it was. I wasn't a big fan. I just
You know,
wasn't.
it's funny that you say that because this company that I did the review on, I was actually recommended by a former member of my channel, and they're like, you should definitely check this company out. So I started checking the company out, and they're like, yeah, we'll send you some stuff. And I was just looking and asking questions, and they're like, we'd be feel free to send you some stuff. And I'm like, well, you don't have to do that. And they're like, no, we would love to. And because I was just kind of reaching out to see who they were and stuff, because I had never heard of them before. Well, then I messaged the dude, and I'm like, man, I don't know, because he had watched that, and he kind of laughed about it, and I'm like, dude, this was terrible. And he goes, yeah, I agree. He goes, in fact, I gave it to my coworkers, and my wife said it smelled like I was walking around with some old Dial soap on my face or something. And I'm like, dude,
Why'd
then
you
why did you exactly? He
recommend
goes,
it?
but then he turns around and he's like, well, and I'm not even going to say this, but he's like, well, such and such and such and such and such and such online, they love and rave about it. So I don't know if it's because of this or that. I'm not going to go into full detail, but I'm like, man, I'm going to give an honest review on it. And so, when it comes down to it, if you like everything, then there's probably a problem somewhere,
Yeah,
because you know what I
absolutely.
mean? Especially if you're affiliate and because it comes down to where people start wondering, are you just trying to make money off of everything you're
And
talking
yeah,
about,
and I'm
instead of
sorry, that's
being
what I
real?
think of any. That's what I honestly think of anybody like with an affiliate code who are constantly. So like, there's a company I know who, if you're an affiliate, you're not allowed to buy any other beer products. That's one of the
Really?
stipulations. Yeah,
Wow. Oh,
and,
I think I know who you're talking about.
and it's like, all right, that. And I've actually had a few who were former customers of mine who, I won't say who it is, but they still secretly buy stuff
That's
from me because they love my stuff,
that's
and yet
funny.
they're not
That's
allowed
funny.
to talk about it publicly.
That's too bad.
And so they just will message me and be like, hey, I like your stuff. This is the, and they have nothing but great things to say. And it's just unfortunate that people will get pinned into a corner like that, because it's like, I'm sorry, at the end of the day, you're not getting much out of this. You're not gonna be remembered by the person you're hyping up. And at the end of the day, you're getting used.
Yeah.
um, and so, there's people who they will go out of their way to support me, and I try to kick back things to people who do that anytime I can. But the one thing I've learned is people with these affiliate codes who only endorse one company, there's just no honesty. Um, and I saw that with our first business. I've seen it in this business, and that's just one of those tactics that, again, I had said earlier. My wife and I just said we're not going to get into it for stuff like this. It makes sense. This happened, these kind of things. It makes sense to have codes in certain situations, um, because it's just that it's different. There's not just this constant marketing going on. It's like, yeah. It's as simple as that. If I see somebody who's just only supporting one company, they're not allowed to talk about anybody else, and they're throwing an affiliate code at you. It's like, why am I?
Yeah,
Why would I entertain anything you're saying to me
for
right now?
sure. For
You're
sure.
completely paid for. Like, that is as like much the definition of bought out as possible. Um, and so, oh, thank you very much. I hope if you just did it, if you didn't have, if you were able to use a code, please message me and I'll try to get the code attached. I haven't created the code yet, but yeah, that's knowing that there's even like, if I was, imagine if I told you right now, like, yeah, you can use my code, but if you promote any other company, uh there's gonna be problems. Like, it's hard to even say that in a non-serious way. And so I can't imagine asking a customer or telling a customer, like, hey, yeah, you can promote my company, but if you ever promote anybody else, like, I'll basically ban you. I mean, that's not a relationship, that's a transaction. That's all that, like, it's, I don't know. That kind of, that's, again, that's just not something I relate to. And so it's like, I want you to love my products, and if you don't, then it is what it is, I guess. There's something out there you will find. Midnight Current.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I selected that. They were out talking to me about something. I didn't mean to do
Oh,
that. What I meant to do is hit Raven Beardco here. Not that one. Which one was it? The chat's moving. It's have you ever tried to do something and then like it moves on you? There we go. That's the one I was
but
trying to
it's
do.
still pretty. Goodness, yeah, it's still pretty active, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Thanks
Go.
for hanging in there, guys. It's a long one.
Oh yeah. Go Con. Good seeing you, brother. Uh, it's always good seeing him. He's a great dude. If you ever get to know GoCon, he's a great dude to talk to.
Yeah, it was fun. It was actually, I don't watch a lot of YouTube stuff, and it's no disrespect to you guys. It's just not. I'm not.
Now that you don't do it, you don't have nothing to do with us anymore, do you? Kidding.
It's
I'm
just one of
kidding.
those.
I'm
It's like,
kidding.
it's one of those things where it's like, if I'm looking for a specific topic, then I search you out for it. Like with the Live Bearded barbershop one, is like, that is something that I truly like. I want to hear somebody's perspective on it,
Right.
because I know I personally liked it, and so it was a topic that I was interested in. Um, and so I went I went directly to something I was looking for. I'm not somebody where it's just like, I'm just gonna watch every single thing you put out. And so with the Beard of Respect, I his was actually one of the few that I watched almost all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And so that just that speaks to him and his character. It was
Mm-hmm.
just, it was
Sure.
interesting. It was fun to listen to, and experience. And so it just, it's for me. I actually would probably listen to something before I would watch something. Like, if I'm gonna do a podcast, I'm probably gonna listen to it, or like read a book, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm not huge on. I mean, the only reason I really have a YouTube is mostly for, I listen to ASMR in my free time to try to
Oh,
calm my,
nice.
it's what I use to calm my anxiety, and so that's the biggest reason I have YouTube to begin with. Now my wife, she's the opposite. She has 400 subs, and she tries to watch like it's all like chateau stuff about like rebuilding chateaus and stuff like that. And she watches, I mean, she tries to watch it every weekend. I mean, she tries to keep up with all of her people,
Wow,
and
that's
she tries,
awesome.
I mean, it's not actually 400, but it feels, compared to mine that has like 10. I mean, it's like there's a few channels that I've actually subbed to. Um and I know, for some people that's their TV. That's just what they do. But yeah, it I don't know where I was going with it, but it just it is just that way for me. But yeah, with Gokhan, that's how I was introduced to him. Is
Very cool.
I watched through his, and I'd watched somebody else's, and was just kind of getting a feel for those guys, and yeah, his definitely stood out to me.
He's funny. Gokon. He's a funny dude. Are you really fishing? Are you really fishing, Gokon? Or did I misunderstand everything you're saying? Hey, Bishop's on here. What's happening, brother? Good to see you. I have to watch the Beard of Respect this Thursday. Don't miss it, guys. I'll be on there, special guest. First time
You
ever.
you are
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
those are
we'll
good
see how that
guys.
goes. Uh-oh.
Those are good guys.
You know who that person is right here?
I don't think so.
That's Mrs. Boney.
Oh, okay.
That's my wife.
Well, hello.
You know what that means?
I will. I was just signing off. Uh,
He's like, I'm scared now. That's funny.
Thank
Uh,
you for letting me have your husband for 3 hours on this fine
yeah.
Tuesday.
Well, it's been good. It's been good. I heard a guy say one time, it's been real, it's been nice, but it hasn't been real nice.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it
It
has
hasn't been
been.
real
It's
nice.
been pretty great.
Yeah,
I've Brad's given the greatest wisdom here. Time to sign off. It's crazy when it's time to go. It's when the numbers go up. You
yeah.
notice that
Exactly.
we
Yep.
went to 15.
Yeah. It's like church. It's like all you can think about is like, I want to get home. I want to get home. I want to get home. I want to eat that meal. I want to watch this game. And the next thing you know, everybody's at the door and nobody can leave.
Oh yeah.
Everybody just starts huddling together, and
Oh
then
yeah.
nobody wants to be the first one to go.
Everybody wants to spend time together. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
funny.
Heard that.
Well, at least my wife's smiling right now. For now.
Yeah, that's always a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Well,
Robert and Terry. Thank you,
yeah. Thanks, Paul.
thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Appreciate
and
you
to
all.
anybody that I don't know going into this. Please reach out if you have any questions. I'm not going to sit here and do a sales pitch. I'm honestly just I'm an open book. So if you just ever want to chat, hopefully I am more responsive moving forward these next few weeks.
What's a good
Uh,
way to get a hold of you? I mean, through email, or you don't do
um,
Instagram probably or anything, do you?
I have it honestly. Facebook Messenger
Okay.
for my per. I've noticed that for some reason I don't get a lot of the stuff that goes directly to the Acreage page because my personal page is attached to it, and so it's weird. If you want to get a hold of me, it's probably just easier to message me personally because that's where I'm most
On
responsive.
Facebook or your actual text message?
On Facebook, and
Okay.
then
That's what I thought.
also my group. Our group is very very active, um and so people are usually willing to answer questions in there too if I'm not available. We now have AI, so he can apparently answer questions too, but I still have not seen the benefits of the AI other than they post recaps of like what took place in your group that week. So
Really?
uh,
That's
Ye-
weird.
yeah, they basically just like highlight your most engaged posts, and I saw in the BBU like their AI actually like makes posts for itself and like tries to start conversations. I don't know. It's bizarre. I'm trying to get used to it. I was told by somebody this week that I'm too old and stuck in my ways because they're like, "Well, AI is great." It's like Okay, I guess I'm just that guy. I guess I think it's weird.
Hmm. Wow.
Like I see the benefits of it, but I also see where we're headed to, and so like yeah, it's great right now in the moment when it's all like fresh and new, but where we're heading to, it's not gonna be good. And whether that's like Terminator bad or just we're just gonna lose human interaction in general, it something along those lines is where we're headed. That's just it's inevitable. We've seen that with social media. Human interactions, like actual in-person human interactions, already gone down a ton.
Yeah.
Now you add another layer of AI to it, you're going to start losing actual like internet interaction too. I mean, pretty soon people aren't going to have humans for anything, and
Well,
that's
then you have Elon Musk putting chips in humans' brains, which is the craziest thing. Have you heard about that? That's wild.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
it's
haven't really
crazy.
kept up with that, but I had a buddy telling me about how a couple of years ago he was saying, Elon Musk is trying to make humans like with some artificial intelligence where they can just download things real fast to
Mhm.
learn. I thought, well, that would be cool, but my gosh, that's kind of scary when you start playing God.
Yep, yep. No, it's a strange time to be alive for sure.
Yeah,
we're,
for
we're in a
sure.
bizarre time. Now you got
For sure.
billionaires having social media fights with each other. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
I didn't have that on my bingo card, but it's
Nope.
happening.
It is.
Bizarre
Well, guys,
times.
I'm gonna check off, but thanks so much for coming and supporting us tonight, and Hayden here at the Acreage Beard and Body. If you
Yeah,
guys
thanks.
have not checked out his stuff, again, I highly recommend it. Now I've only tried a few things of his, but the Duke and the Aficionado, uh, there's only two oils I've tried of his, but fantastic. Homestead blends on both of them, but fantastic. Loved them. Have the wax melts. Have the beard butter right here as well. It's a conditioning beard butter. All right. This looks so nice right here, but I'm not going to show you.
I have
I,
so I have
I
so many cans that are dented because I've dropped.
oh, well, that's the way it happens for me. Like, if, it's
That's a good dent
frustrating.
though. That's a
I know
that's a
that's a
that's a dinger.
crease.
That's a
That's
dinger.
more of a crease than you're going to find on what is that Cobra Kai Cobra Cobra Kai. God, I can't even talk. I'm getting so tired. Cobra Kai, is that right?
Yes, Cobra
The
Kai.
Karate Kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sensei
that's
Kreese.
more of a crease than John Crease.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So this was something I meant to ask you earlier, and then I swear you can go.
What's
So
that?
when you use butters typically, so I don't actually have a lot of butters from other companies.
Hmm.
So when you use butters from other companies, are they usually a lot more firm?
Yes,
Like
yes.
way more firm.
uh, I mean, for the most part, yeah. So, like my butter, it's firmer, but it has no wax in it. But um, I have Shea. The only you have three butters. I've got two
Mhm.
butters. I said I have two butters. It's getting late for me. I've got Shea and Mango, which same thing you have, but you have Kokum butter as well.
Yep.
Mango is a harder butter than the Shea, and
Pokum's the
then
hardest of all of them.
yep. And then you have coconut butter. That's not as hard as that. But but yeah, I mean, the thing of it is, at the end of the day, butter's butter. When you
Yeah.
mix it, it goes in your beard. It doesn't matter. But
Mhm.
it's just preference. Some people like harder ones. Some people like soft, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm so used to these days seeing harder butters, and that's why when I had. By the way, I did a review on this, and I said I couldn't get it to solidify. But just so you know, just to go back and fix what I said before, and I'll probably have to do some editing later in the video itself. This is supposed to be soft because it's a conditioning butter. Okay, so there was
Yes.
nothing wrong that he did. It's just I didn't know, and so I figured that out before the stream tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So
I was just curious because like I said, I've only really tried a handful of butters, and I think only 2 of them didn't have beeswax. And so I was curious the what the difference was, because yeah, I knew mine was definitely, like, I guess more on the softer, creamier side, if you want to label it that. But I really think that's just because of the higher babasu content.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really why you end up with a slightly soft, because I use probably 25% Babasu in mine. And so that's definitely going to soften it up a bit. But like I said, right now I did increase the butter content in hopes that it won't completely melt in transit.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm going to see how those go the next couple weeks. But yeah, come fall, everything will go back to my double whipped. So
Nice.
those hold up fine in the winter. Everybody just loved them. Nothing obviously melted, and so you'll wanna try those when those come back, because they're
Yeah,
really
for
good.
sure. I know I
So
got a lot of other stuff that I got to get from you and try sometime.
yeah. I'll like I said,
Yeah, I will.
I'll get you at the very least a candle for your wife, just as a thank you for
Yeah.
taking
So
your
if I'm
time.
still alive to get it, just kidding.
Well, at least she can use it though.
Right. Well, what maybe she'll be able to burn it when she's rejoicing when I'm dead.
Burn it at your funeral.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like an incense for her to
Mhm.
remember. That's funny. All
All
right,
right. Well, thank
guys.
you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much. Again, if you need anything, man, just holler at me. Anything,
Absolutely.
advice, or you just want to chat, or if you just go crazy because it's just so nuts. Sometimes you just need somebody to kind of vent to. By the way, I'm a pretty good listener, just to shut up and let people yell at me and vent at me when it has nothing to do with me, because of life. It just makes them feel good. I joke around and I say,
I'm
you know what?
I'm good at yelling at
God,
people.
I say this all the time, and I know you're going to say I'm a complete liar when I say this, but I say, God made me look so bad to make people feel good when they're around me. It's just a gift I have. Or, I heard a preacher say one time,
That's your spiritual gift.
yeah, it's my spiritual gift that God gave me is to be so stupid that people feel good when they're around me, because they're like, golly, I'm so glad that I'm not as dumb as that dude.
Oh man.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny.
That's good.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get off here. Again, I hope you guys have a great night. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. What a great guest we had tonight, Hayden from the Acreage. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you do. If you guys haven't went over to the Acreage, is it IO or what is it? IA?
Yeah, the Acreage IA, as
Okay,
in
for
Iowa.
Make sure you go check it out. Make sure you go check his stuff out. I highly recommend, if you like scents like me. Two that I love is Aficionado, which obviously we had somebody that got some tonight, but also the Duke. The Duke is another fantastic one. And let's see here. It was Bry 134. So
yeah, and then check out the Dutchman this Friday too.
yeah. The
If you
Dutchman
like,
sounds fantastic.
the cigar in there. If you like tobacco, that cigar is a nice sweet cigar.
Mm-hmm.
So
awesome. All right, guys. Well, have a good night. I'll see you guys maybe Thursday night. Take care, buddy, and God bless with your family, man.
thank you.
Hopefully
You as well.
all right, we'll see you guys.